I remember them now.
Whenever you're ready, Captain, for the log.
Captain's log, stardate 8293.7. With the trade dispute between the Green Star Sisters and the Mazarians settled to the satisfaction of all parties, the Trill government has granted my request for some well-deserved shore leave for the officers and crew of the Argo, with some restrictions. We will have free access to all civilian areas, with the exception of what are probably sacred sites, although with our knowledge of Trill culture still so limited, I'm really just guessing about the nature of these areas, and some government sites will require special permissions to enter. None of this is particularly unusual, and for the most part, I doubt most of the crew will even notice the restrictions. Captain Lynch and the Lexington are still in orbit as well, and their investigation of the mysterious Starfleet captain who was granted asylum on Trill 20-some years ago continues, although Captain Lynch himself seems remarkably uninterested in the case. In any event, I think I'm looking forward to exploring a bit of Trillius Prime as much as any crew person aboard, a sure indication that it's past time for a little leave for everyone. End log.
Alright, I'm going to jump you guys here to the bridge. Whoops. So everyone is currently at their duty stations. I believe as you're getting ready to hand out shore leave for most of the crew.
Right.
But in any case, it's sort of kind of free roleplay. So whatever you guys want to do is,
Okay, so in mechanics-wise, if I wanted to create an advantage that was something that's kind of existing that would fit in with, say, Wartburg and Haggard's backstories, could I do that, and how would I do that?
Correct me if I'm wrong. It's usually something you tie into a value. Like you can have that as a connection between two characters. So and so, X, Y, Z. You know.
it just depends on the type of advantage you want to create. So either the advantage is you can roll for the advantage, or you could technically spend any point of determination to create an advantage, but you have to tie that to a value.
Right. So, okay, what I would like to do was that because in both of our backstories, Haggard and Wartburg have that they were assigned together for an intelligence operation in Klingon space. That they this is one of two options, that they have a I don't know, a code or a series of signals set up, fairly simple, for when they need to speak to each other in secure forms or private forms. So is that possible to do?
It is.
And I'm willing to spend the determination to do it if needed.
I would say you do have a value already kind of tied in this aspect.
All warfare is based on deception.
It fits what you're going for, what I think you are. Then, I will allow you to spend that point of determination.
Very good.
To create that advantage.
Okay. So how in-depth is this code? Or is it just like a thing of we need to speak?
That is
securely?
Between the two of you on how you want that to work.
I imagine it'd be a very simple code, something you could communicate with just gestures and a few words. You wouldn't want it to be you wouldn't want to communicate a secret message too long and risk it being intercepted or decrypted quickly.
Right. Or we could have, particularly with both of us being in our own ways kind of bookish, we could actually have a book code with a particular edition of something.
Your favorite book, Moby Dick? Oh. talking
of
code
darkness.
before. No.
Heart of Darkness.
Heart of Darkness.
So, I mean, what do you think we ought to do?
Just go with the flow when we get down to it. We'll see what comes to us, I guess, because we have the advantage of, hey, we have a code, but we'll kind of figure out how they'll turn up at the time, because we don't have to define it too on the point out of the gate.
Well, actually, that was kind of where I was going to start off.
Oh, go ahead. I'll take your lead.
All right. So Haggard will wander over to the science station. Commander von Wertberg, meet me in my ready room. Lieutenant Haran, you have the con. Just put an NPC on the con.
Aye, sir. T'Challa, continue the ongoing scans of Trillius and make sure the science team Beta gets that atmospherics down. We want to make sure we don't mix that up before we do our next test.
Yes, sir.
Captain?
Type. Yes, number one, I've been, let's see, I ran across an article you might be interested in. I turn around the display or whatever on my desk. Dealing with quantum wavelengths and communications that research has come out of the Klingon Empire. And somewhere in that is going to be some sort of key that is, basically means we need a secure location to talk. And whether that's a combination of hand signals with the words or what.
I'm not sure I follow, sir.
Screen even.
Sir?
So you didn't catch the code then?
No.
No, somewhere in that thing I just said to you was a kind of code phrase of needing to be to a secure place to talk. Like quantum communications research.
Oh.
See what I'm saying?
I do now, sir. Sorry, slightly preoccupied. Well, we could probably go to Deck 6 near the lateral sensor array. It's a lot of noise there, and it's hard to scan when someone's that close to it, and the current rotation doesn't have anyone doing any maintenance there right now.
So we're just abandoning having a code.
I think what Wartburg would do is phrase it like, I believe there might be a tension with the lateral sensor array on deck 6 that might need our attention. We should probably go look into it.
Yes, because my character's far more clever than I
am. Sounds good. I've been itching to exercise some of my engineering skills. Commander Martell takes all the fun out of it.
True, sir.
So yeah, let's make our way to the lateral whatever.
All right. The two of you take a stroll through the bridge onto deck 6.
Theater of the mind.
It is quite noisy. There's a lot of machinery running.
And Haggard's going to pull out his communicator and try to create a hypersonic frequency that might throw off any electronic surveillance to add to the.
All right.
Yeah.
Give me control plus engineering difficulty 1.
Cool. Of course. Thank you, Roll20.
I'll let you succeed at cost.
Sure.
If you want.
There goes the communicator.
The complication is that the communicator is only able to emit this frequency for about 5 minutes.
Okay. Just more than I need. Sorry to throw you back into the old days, number one, but with Admiral Marcus apparently being able to shut down the ship, I have some information that I wanted to speak with you about in as private a condition as we can get. The engraved wooden box that Lieutenant Tazal gave me contained a data chip with a simple message from someone claiming to be Mitsugi Ray, formerly captain of the USS Atlantis, basically telling me not to trust anyone in Starfleet, that his ship was destroyed in a battle, quote, that you've never heard of, end quote, and to not even trust my first officer. Now, we know that Captain Lynch also served under Marcus aboard the Repulse prior to 2255. So I'm wondering if the disinterest he's showing in this investigation is merely a cover. And the last thing I wanted is Marcus taking over the ship again. But he said, this Captain Ray said that he would make contact with me later. But I wanted you in on this because no matter what someone else may think, I know you well enough to know you can be trusted and that there's nobody I'd rather have at my back.
All right. Well, if we're worried about the ship being taken over in the short term, I would advise putting a full level 1 diagnostic for the ship's major systems. That should bring down a lot of it. And even if they take over, they're taking over a ship that's still in a level 1 diagnostic. Stuff's unplugged. Things won't work as quickly as they would like. They'd have to start plugging everything in before it could be taken. That would buy some time and cover us in that regard. Do you know if this Ray ever worked with intelligence? The name doesn't ring a bell for me.
I don't know. I haven't even done any really. I've been afraid to do any real research on my own for fear that it might trigger something in the computer. We've really got to trace down that whatever it is that Marcus has in our systems and get our ship back under our control. But I'm assuming that Ray's going to want to. Obviously, I'll need to be on the ground for him to meet me. Mm-hmm. You and I need a secure means to communicate while we're on the surface. Mm-hmm. Can you rig a pair of communicators to make sure that they can't be tapped?
I could possibly reprogram the computer systems for that task, and manage it that way. Make it part of some project or another, or do it on my own if necessary. Although it is possible we could ask our friends at Trillius for a particular toy. So that way we're not working with anything that's aboard ship. Minimize chance of it being caught, having a man in the middle mess with it.
The problem with that is, explaining to our friends on Trill why we need their communications gear when we're Starfleet.
Oh, we want to experiment with new technology and learn more about them through their technology. I mean, they are members of the Federation, after all. And we're on leave.
Fair enough. So you think that would be or we could buy some planetary communicators. What did they used to call them in the old novels? Burner phones?
A somewhat out-of-date term, but yes, Captain, that would be a way to do it. Short-wave subspace channels can be made with communication devices like that. And it won't show up on our operations log, because anything we do here, anything we move around, is going to come up.
That's true.
When's your meeting, sir?
Hasn't been set. He said he'd be in touch. So I was assuming that my plan was to just go about shore leave and wait to be contacted, honestly.
All right.
There's
I'm
also
gonna...
another possibility. We could ask Sevna for her help. It'd probably cost us something, a favor in the future, I would imagine, but talk about an untraceable communication system. The flip side being the Orions could well listen in. However, if Sevna says she won't, rightly or wrongly, I trust her not to. She's dealt square with us so far.
How about this, sir? I would suggest that you see what you can get and see if the price is something that we can afford, to put it that way. And I'll try to look up a way to do it my way. If we have two, then we have two, and we can we have backups, to put it that way. And if one fails and one succeeds, great. If both fail, we'll deal with it when it comes up.
Right. But I want you down on the planet with me just in case. Not
Yes.
right with, but within range. And I think we both ought to carry a couple of phaser ones.
Aye, sir. Although we do have the prerogative to have type 2s, given our rank.
It's true, but ones are a bit more concealable. Remember, we're on shore leave, number one.
As you say, sir.
All right. I will contact Sevna and head on down for shore leave. I think I was planning on staying in this hotel. It comes pretty highly recommended. We certainly won't be the only ones in the crew staying there. So maybe meet at the hotel bar tonight around 8 o'clock local. And maybe by then we'll have one way or two ways worked out to communicate.
All right, I'll see you there one way or the other.
Thanks, number one, and keep your eyes open. I don't like to think that Starfleet's not on our side all the time, but I've discovered enough hinky stuff going on lately that makes me a little nervous.
Just be advised, Captain. One of the tactics commonly done by intelligence agencies is to sow discomfort with one's masters and to trick them into being in trouble. So this may be an actual problem, or this may be foreign action trying to hoodwink you. So
fair enough, and one of the reasons I brought you in on this.
Aye, sir.
For now, though, let's keep it between the two of us until we see the lay of the ground, if you will.
Aye, sir.
All right. Let's get to it. So Haggard will head back to his quarters and open a channel to Sevna.
Okay. Are you trying to make this a secure connection or just open?
Just do a regular open connection.
Okay. The only reason why I'm saying if it's secure, then I'm gonna make you roll for it.
Yeah, I figured.
Since it's unsecure, then. But yeah, you open a comm to Sevna's ship. I don't have a name for the vessel.
It's fine. The caveat emptor. Only in Orion.
Trying to think of one. We'll just say insert ship name here. What do you want, Starfleet?
I want to speak to your mistress, the Lady Sevna.
She's very busy.
I have no doubt, but still, perhaps she would be so good as to make time for someone who has just so handily delivered so much high-quality duranium into her supply. $8,762 metric tons of high-quality duranium, if I recall the agreement. I think that might buy me a few minutes.
And your name?
Captain Ulysses Haggard of the USS Argo.
Very well. And channel's not really closed. You can hear some talking in the background, and you hear then Sevna like yelling at her civil like, "Why didn't you tell me?" You know, and then Unlucky's like, Captain, so good to hear from you. What do I owe this pleasure?
Well, pleasure is something that I had in mind, or at least the pleasure of your company. I'm about to go on shore leave, and I was wondering if you might join me for dinner tonight. Say around 6-ish local time?
I would be honored, Captain. I'm quite surprised that you wish to engage in this sort of activity.
Well, you might be surprised in the kind of activities I engage in multiple occasions. In any event, I understand that there's an excellent trillion restaurant, blah, 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 in the capital city. Not too far from the hotel where I'll be staying during my leave. As I understand it, trillion traditional fare is not harmful to either of our species, and it might be fun to sample the local cuisine if you're interested. If not, I'm sure we can find something else.
I would be delighted. I believe I still have my access to certain parts of the Trill capital. I will see you then, Captain.
I look forward to it.
As do I.
Now close the channel. Do I still have any of the anti-pheromone injections left over? I don't think I used any.
You didn't use any, so yeah, you would have some.
Okay, good. I'll definitely bury you with that. Well, and I will then, spend the rest of the shift doing whatever I need to do to get ready to go on shore leave, and I will change into civvies, concealing a phaser 1 about me. We'll take a communicator because that would be expected, and beam on down to the surface or take a shuttle or however we're doing shore leave.
All right. So real quick, Commander, where are you at?
I would be making arrangements for the ship to start undergoing level 1 diagnostics for various systems and rotating it during the leave. So that way we're not shutting down the whole ship. We're just shutting down one system, check it completely, one system, check it completely, and move on.
Okay.
After that, I would get myself I'll make sure that we don't have any diagnostics set aside for the shuttles. Like I want the shuttles to be able to take off and land as needed. And I'm going to schedule a pilot to fly me down to the surface. I'm going to change into civvies as well, pocket a Type 1 phaser, and bring along my tricorder and communicator. And actually, before I head down, I'm going to look up in the ship's computer, see if there's any, if we have a lot of data about the city that we're allowed to do leaving, like if they gave us update on like the city map or a directory of any kind, or if we have access to their computers from here.
You don't really have access to their computers, but more so, they did give you a map, essentially like a directory of like areas that you can visit. You know, so there's the trade district, which many people from all sorts of walks of life usually do business there, and some of them even live there. While there are civilian quarters with restaurants and yada yada stuff, there's also several in the medical district, which is kind of weird. There's essentially two hospitals in a way. One is, you could assume, is more specialized. Without going into too detail. And there's another one that's more for general civilians.
Okay.
But for the most part, it's pretty standard. Other than in terms for like any of the government buildings, you have to have sort of a special permission to visit them, which is just contacting a local representative to get the acquired access. And there's also several other locations on the planet that are presumed religious in some nature, that are off limits to outsiders.
Even with permission. Like they're
Even with
it's a
permission,
no,
yes.
you're not yet verboten.
Right.
Okay. This is
Where the symbiote pools are.
I'm going to download the directory into my tricorder. And is there anything else I need to grab from the ship before I leave? Because I don't want to have to come back again for a little while. I'm going to inform the communications officer, and basically the department, make sure it's just something that's a standing order from me. If any communication comes from command or intelligence, just to communicate with me just direct to me, to my communicator as soon as possible. Other than that, I will shuttle down. And try to land this shuttle. Actually, can we land the shuttle somewhere in the city, like a spaceport of some kind?
There is a spaceport, yeah.
Okay. That's one thing I want to look up. Do they have rules about landing outside of the city? Like if you can land in an open field, you don't need special permission, or they go, no, you need to tell us that you're doing that before you do it.
You would need to tell them before you're doing something like that.
How advanced notice does it need to be? Like a day's notice, or just make sure to call in? Because they might have a stricter air code than we do on Earth.
They have a stricter code, especially considering certain locations are off limits to outsiders. Usually, they would rather you land at a designated spaceport, which there is no monetary fee for doing so.
Um, I'll actually make a communication with their. I'll communicate down to the planet's whoever's responsible for arranging for landings outside of cities. The aero control or planetary control. Basically, my plan is to try to secure permission, a sort of expeditionary permission to kind of just land a shuttle somewhere in the forest, away from any religious sites. Like keep it very keep a nice so many kilometer distance away from them, so I can't even accidentally walk their way. And be like, hey, I'd like to be able to land out and just see nature for a while and then lift off. But we constantly tell you our flight plan, how long we're going to be there, and when we intend to lift off, and like checking in with them all the time and seeing if I can arrange that on rather short notice, since the captain did just drop this on my lap a few minutes ago.
Give me a. Let's make a calm plus presence roll. Like you're trying to abide by their rules, which is the reason why it's gonna be con.
Yeah.
And then you're also at the same time convincing them of this.
Persuasion focus.
Sure.
Okay.
Difficulty is 2.
2.
Because
Yeah.
they find it kind of suspicious. Because like you could just
it is an odd
beam
thing to
down.
ask.
It's like you could just beam down. You have the tech.
I'm going to give you a threat for an extra die.
Okay.
And hey,
Gain 1 momentum.
that was a close roll for me.
And you get the permission you need.
Okay, thank you very much. Appreciate all your consideration. I'll contact you as soon as I know what my plans are. I'm intending to stop by the capital for a bit and gather my figure out where exactly I want to go. But you'll probably hear from me before the day's out. With that, I will shuttle down to the capital.
All right. I won't necessarily need you to make a check here. So.
Yeah.
You do take the shuttlecraft. It's not a very long trip. And you were landing at the actual capital?
Yeah.
Alright.
Which, correct me if I'm wrong, that's where Haggard is going to be, hotel is as well, yeah?
Yeah.
I imagine he was going to the capital rather than one of the other city centers.
Correct.
Okay.
And anything you like to do real quick before I...
His next intention is to go into the trade district and look for an electronics shop, specifically a place that would sell or trade in communication devices or communication equipment if need be.
I would say there's probably a shop that deals with communication devices, an off-world trader. Now my question is, are you going in Starfleet uniform or...
I'm in civilian clothes. Although
Okay.
I'm probably have like my tricorder still, because it's it's still the old big block style, if I remember correctly, in this era. Or do they have the flip ones out yet?
It's still the big block.
Yeah, I'll have that
phone
hung off like
from the
like
80s.
I have it hanging off of me. So it's obviously Starfleet, but it's like civilians have these too.
Okay.
Doesn't look too weird.
All right. You enter the shop. It is your typical trill. It's like, welcome. Don't get too many humans coming in from time to time. What can I do for you?
Hello, yes. I am looking for uh, equipment to build a communication device. I find other cultures' way of approaching problems interesting, and I want to try to challenge myself and see what I can do with your technology and learn from it that way. I was wondering if you could help me with that.
Certainly, see what we can find for you. I'm Caress. What is your name?
You can call me Wolfgang.
Pleasure to meet you, Wolfgang. He kind of walks you by. There's quite a several different electronics, and he takes you in there, which obviously looks like assortment of different communicators in a way. It's like
Mhm.
just a bunch of handfuls. Like picked these up from some Orion traders recently, and range art isn't too bad. You just and it shows like a sort of a module. It's a little bit thicker one. It's sort of he's like that module there. Are you plugging this into a ship of some kind? Are you a
More
trader?
into a personal communication device. I'm actually looking to do some planetary expeditions here on Trill. And I just want to be able to, I want to, again, part of the whole pushing myself thing, trying to use technology I have. Although I will have a shuttle with me, a small craft. So if I need to, if it's something that needs charging, I can arrange that.
Yeah. No. You just this is the main receiver. You'll just need
Mm-hmm.
this device that has a sort of communicators here that you'll be able to communicate with your party.
Ah, very good. How long does the independent power supply last for fairly long? Like say 24, sorry, a full day cycle?
I haven't had a chance to test it. I just got it not too long ago. Um, Usually with this sort of technology, you maybe get 12 hours out of it.
Okay. I think I'll probably, and this is your recommendation?
It's one of my newer questions. I had part of one of my newer items that came into stock. I have other assortments here. The range on those that particular model is slightly better. I just
Mhm.
don't know how far you're wanting to venture past the receiver.
Let's see. I'd say about 100 kilometers at most. If you have something that go halfway across the planet, that's be amazing, but that's more than I expect to have for a personal expedition.
That receiver will be able to do it for you. Usually you get probably I would say more like a continent range
Okay,
out of it.
that's plenty.
This
Um,
one over here, picked it up from a Rigelian trader not too long ago. The model's okay. It's more on the cheaper end. You're looking to maybe get from here from like a ground team from a ship in orbit. So a few
so
about
fairly good
50,
range.
and for the most part,
Yeah.
maybe 50 kilometers.
All right. How easy to adjust or maintain, field maintain are they? Is one easier than the other?
Not really, no. They're just about the same, really. You might be able to tweak the Rigelian model here, but yeah.
Um, I think I'll go with the Orion model, and I'll get a spare energy cell to go with that, just in case. I really hope I don't need it, but I've learned to be prepared for such things. I'll also need a electronics maintenance kit to go along with it. So it's a small tool, something I can carry on my person, that sort of thing. And what else should I need? Oh, is there do you know a good place where I can get maps of the local area? Not the local area, planetary maps, that sort of thing. I was told on my way down places I need to avoid, but I was looking for more detailed planetary maps to get an idea of the lay of the land, so that way I don't stumble my way into a pit or something, or a cavern or something stupid like that.
The maps are what we have are relatively free of charge. You can pick that up at
Oh.
any information that bank.
Oh, good.
As for the equipment request, I have pretty much everything you need in terms of electronic wise. How are you wanting to pay for this? Usually, I deal in bartering, or I do take, form of credits.
I do have you do take pardon me. You take Federation credit, or has that been integrated yet? I know you guys just joined.
Well, not too many people don't really deal with Federation credits just so yet. I'm a little hesitant to deal with that. Is there?
Well, if you're dealing in barter as a Federation member, I do have on me a tricorder. If you're familiar with these,
That's kind of. Do you hand it to him?
I kind of hold it up and flip open the top to let him know it turns on, and see if he has a spark of "Oh, I know what that is," or a look of "I have no idea what you're pointing at me."
That's a very interesting model you have there. It's Starfleet issue.
Yes, it is. It's from the Argo up in orbit.
Oh, you're a member of the Argo crew?
Indeed, I am. And and as a Federation member, I do not feel it is unfair to trade with you one of our tricorder devices in an electronics shop of repute like yours for some personal gear. And who knows? Maybe you'll have some fun with it and learn some extra things about your surroundings. This is a fairly advanced model. And I can always get another one from the ship, so it's not hurting me too much. But I imagine it's something new.
I'm very interested in the tricorder. However, I don't know if that's enough. See, I have other tricorders of similar type that do the job, though. I don't know how many people would be interested in the Starfleet model.
But let me walk you through all the features this one has. I've been specially trained in this, don't you know? And I start giving him a small brief on tricorders.
Okay, give me a command plus presence roll.
Take this damn thing. It's good. You'll like it.
Difficulty is 2.
Persuasion focus?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a pretty good roll. This is a different roll, so all my cool things don't kick in just yet. So what I'll do, I'll spend that momentum for an extra die. I might get it back. Oh, bam. Oh well.
All right. I think we could make this work. I won't be able to give you the extra power pack that you want, but I can trade the rest of the equipment for the tricorder.
I'll work around that. That's fine. Besides, that was more of a contingency anyway, so. And here you go.
Takes the tricorder, hands you most of the equipment that you need.
All right. Thank you very much.
All right, if you need anything else, just let me know.
What was your name again, sir?
Sorry. Curious.
Name?
Yeah, no, I had a name. I'm just trying to figure out if I'm even pronouncing it right. Here, I'll type it out.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Curse. I will endeavor to seek you out again should I go have more needs, actually. And I'll come more prepared for trade. And don't worry, I won't try to offload another tricorder on you. Unless that sells like hotcakes, at which point I want more the next time around.
Very well. Have a good day, Mr. Wolfgang.
You too. Oh, one other thing. If you just hand me that tricorder back for a moment, I need to clear some personal data off it. I just remembered. I didn't want to walk out and forget about that.
Very well. He kind of keeps an eye on this stuff to make sure, and then hands you the tricorder, slightly kind of holding onto the strap.
Well, yeah. I basically factory reset it, so it wipes all my all the scans and data I had on it.
Okay.
Do you know where I could get a information pad or a personal data device of some kind?
I have one right over here if you need it.
Would you mind throwing it in with the rest of it? I kind of was going to use that as my way to keep a map, and I just realized as I was about to leave that I don't have a way to look up a map anymore. unless this communicator can do it, but if it can do that, then...
No, that particular model is only good for communication.
Can't be that lucky. I promise you, I'll come back and I'll trade you for what I owe you. Put it on a tab, as we say back home.
Tell you what, I will take a deposit of Federation credits that you can get back. Normally I don't deal with Federation credits, but I can't let this go.
Sure, I can do that. In the Federation credit system, it's Wolfgang von Wartburg, Earth. Should be able to pull that out from the database. And once you enter in the amount of credits you want, I'll approve it on my end. I just need to hit the control on once you have it entered in.
All right. He puts it in there, and when he does, the amount, it's kind of unreasonable, especially since, is for what you're getting.
Mm-hmm.
It's close to 500 energy credits.
It's an amount. Ouch. But that's fine. So this is a deposit, and I bring this back to you, and I get back the credit, or do you want me to trade something else in for it? Which would be easier for you?
Trade something else for it, or let's see. Usually I deal in barter.
Mm-hmm. So it'd be better if I give you something new. I'll make arrangements for that. I'm okay with this agreement. And I'll sign off on the credit amount.
All right. As you hands you the data pad, and is there anything else though, real quick, before I cut to the captain?
Last thing would probably be going to an information kiosk, grabbing the data from that, and I'll head back to... I'll actually secure somewhere to stay at. Actually, I'll stay at the hotel they suggested, and I'm probably going to get to work on the communication device to make it something I can encrypt.
Okay. If you're gonna encrypt the data pad, it'll be...
Oh, the communicator. Sorry.
Yeah, the communicator. Sorry. Trying to think. Let's make this a control plus security. You pretty much we're gonna set the difficulty in case, for whatever reason. So how many successes you get is gonna equal the difficulty of what I have to roll against.
All right. Infiltration focus.
Not in this case, no.
Click. The rest of that doesn't work. I haven't done something like this before this episode, so that doesn't work. I'm actually looking to spend into the value of service doesn't always ask us what we expect as a sort of in this very ad hoc trying to build this thing, this alien tech into a infiltration device when I usually have my standard issue gear that's usually supposed to help me with this.
Okay.
And control security, and I'm also going to give you a threat for a die. Do I want 2 dice? Depends how high I want to set the difficulty.
So that's gonna be 2 threat.
Oh yeah, 2 threat. Right, because I have 2 right out of the gate. So I can set the difficulty at least 2. I did spend that determination, so that goes away. I'm gonna set the difficulty to 3.
Well,
3.
it's how many successes
4.
you get.
Oh, okay. I don't have to call it out
You
in
don't have to
advance.
call it out. No, it's just
Okay.
whatever you roll is gonna be the difficulty.
Okay. I'll actually give you enough threat. I'll give you enough threat for a 4th die. So that's 2, 3. So 5 total, I believe.
Yes, that's 5 total.
Okay. Control security, and nothing else I can do. Bang.
Difficulty is gonna be 4, but there's a complication with that. So with the communication device, anytime you use it, especially since it's encrypted, the communication can become garbled at certain distances. So you'll need to be in a much shorter proximity of each other when using the device. Like you're not getting the full range. So
yeah, I won't get
continent
wide.
Yeah, the range is reduced by 75%.
I have to be really close, which is that I can live with that.
Like how close?
Well, if it's continent wide, I'd have to be regional, like I'd imagine.
Oh,
so
that's
fairly
should
close.
Be plenty, we hope.
We hope.
Yeah.
That's why I'm glad I didn't cheap out and buy the lower model.
Right.
But that'll be it for me from now. There's other things, but I can catch up on that later.
Okay. All right. So, Captain, back on the Argo.
So, how does money work with this, with Trill and the Federation? Is it post scarcity? I mean,
it's not so much post scarcity. These are traders, so they deal with other alien cultures. So not all of them take Federation credits. So they usually deal in barter or latinum.
Okay.
And to be fair, if I was thinking ahead, I should have got some latinum and loaded up and then went down. I didn't think of that until I got there. I was like, oh wait, these guys are new and they're traders. Shoot. Oh well.
So, but how does like just normal, like the hotel bill, going out to eat, how is that handled? I mean, is that Federation credits, or like for most standard shore leave stuff, would Federation credits work, or would you need latinum?
In this case, like if you're wanting to stay on the planet service, the Trill government can arrange accommodations for you, since you are part of Starfleet. But if you're wanting to stay at your own place, it's going to have to be latinum.
Okay, so yeah, I will definitely get a supply of latinum before I leave the ship, or other regional currency, whichever is easier to do.
Latinum is going to probably be the easiest.
Okay. I have no idea how much I'll need to take.
I imagine no more than a brick worth, because a brick is a lot of money.
Yeah.
And if you need more than that, you're buying yourself your own land vehicle.
Let me get a memory alpha real quick and see what the general breakdown is. Okay. So one big bar is like 100,000.
Be 15 slips of latinum
for
night. For a night.
Okay. So.
And that's staying at a very prestigious hotel. So.
Right. Okay, so 100 slips equals 1 strip. Yeah, I think I'll just take like 20 strips, which is the equivalent of 1 bar, just in more accessible forms. Basically, I guess they're basically hundreds, if you want to put it that way.
Yeah. Okay.
And I'll just to be sneaky, I'll replicate, one of those traveling wallets things that you can wear where it's hard for somebody to pickpocket. You put about half of it in that and carry the rest normally. Like, they make those things that you can wear under your shirt or whatever.
I would say you're not like replicating it. It's more like you going to the kind of the quartermaster. Because
sorry,
it's not
wrong era.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah. Okay. And then I will head down, check into the hotel, and I'm assuming, since I'm staying in the hotel where a lot of the crew are, that's already been set up by the government for our leave.
They'll set up like various locations for people where they want to, if they wish to stay at or visit, to like some of the administration office. But you have to you request, there's certain hotels that's like, well, we have a deal, like you can stay here for free while you're on your shore leave and stuff like that. But if you want to stay at any other place, you have to pay Latinum for it.
Right, but I'm gonna start with one of the hotels that they have let us use for shore leave.
Okay.
Which is where I told them to meet Wartburg. So, and then at the hotel, I will see if I can get, the equivalent of the tourist map that you find at hotels in big cities of, all the stuff in downtown and the sites and all that kind of junk. I don't know if it'll be like a pad or what.
There's several information data banks, like sort of like a kiosk in a way, that you'll be able to go to and download data to like a tricorder, or some sort of data pad.
Yeah, just and I'll get the tourist maps and all that good kind of stuff, like I would if I was going on shore leave.
Okay.
And then shortly before I head to the restaurant, I'll give myself the anti-pheromone injection. Be sure and carry an extra one or two.
All right.
And head out to meet Sebna.
Okay.
And
while you're
on my way, okay.
While you're getting the map and you're walking by, and you're kind of by a fountain, you're double checking the data pad. A curious man, Trill, kind of walks up to you. He's like, You, the crew from the one of the Federation ships in orbit.
Yes, the Argo.
Ah. Well, welcome to Trill. What's your business here?
Well, we're on shore leave. So my business is I've got a date in a few minutes, and then we're going to take in some of the nightlife here.
Oh, well, that's most intriguing. My name is Yudin. What is your name? If you don't
You
mind
didn't
me
mind?
asking.
Of course not. Name's Ulysses. Pleasure to meet you.
Oh, likewise. I must say, though, if you're interested in visiting the world, there's no place like the cliffs of Rudolph Shear. It's the most southern continent, if you're able to get there. Um, its view is most breathtaking during sunset, though some people do enjoy it while in solitude.
Sounds incredible. The cliffs of what did you say?
Rudolph Shear.
I'll have to make a point to visit.
Yes, many musicians and artists like to go there and take in the view. Many great poets have written many fascinating tales. If you don't mind, I won't keep you from your adventures here on Trill, but please enjoy your stay.
Oh, thanks, Udin, and thanks for the recommendation.
My pleasure. And he walks off.
Do I think there was anything in that exchange beyond just like super friendliness?
Insight command. Difficulty 2.
Okay, I'll give you a threat for bold command. Let's see. I don't think I have any focuses that'll work. Maybe deception to see if he was, if he's trying to tell me more than he wants to,
I
or
will
than he
allow.
wants to appear to
Yeah.
be. Yeah.
That'd be fine. Yeah.
Sorry, I'm a little jet lagged, still not talking well. There we go.
You have it. No momentum unless you plan to reroll a 0.
Let's see if I can get a complication. Nope. Oh well, I tried.
Other than being super friendly, there was one thing it seemed a little out of place where he says, to go there, while in solitude, which means alone.
Right.
Which is kind of odd, saying like, well, if it's such a beautiful place, why would I want to go it alone?
Right.
That would be the only thing that kind of catches your mind, that kind of out of place in that whole conversation.
Fair enough. So I will continue to meet Sedna. And as I'm walking, I'm going to find, is there like a shopping district that is still open and a couple of other restaurants?
There is. There's several shopping districts along with, several different restaurants. It just depends on which, area of the city you're at.
Right. So I'm looking for a shopping district and restaurants relatively close to the one I'm in short walking distance, the one that I'm planning to meet Sedna in.
Sure. So yeah, there's.
Okay. And I'll try to get there a little early, so that hopefully I can catch her on her way in or whatnot.
Okay, you arrive there early. As you're waiting, you know she's kind of late. You do see her, and she's not dressed sort of in her usual garments. It's kind of you're kind of surprised. It's actually more of a human garments that she's dressed in, and rather nicely dressed. One particular that of like you would see someone going on a date with. And she hasn't noticed you yet, as you're kind of hiding a little bit in the crowd.
Yep, I definitely keep an eye on the time when it comes to the anti-pheromone, and I step up to Seven and go, well, you look absolutely stunning.
Thank you, Captain. And you usually your charming self as well.
Why don't we walk a bit before dinner? I hear there's some lovely. There's an interesting shopping distance just a few blocks this way. Work up a bit of an appetite.
Very well, Captain.
And I kind of offer her
And
my arm.
She takes it. It's like,
And I kind of move us into the crowd, walking, not fast or anything, just kind of sauntering around.
as you're walking, you notice that she kind of nudges a little bit, a little bit tighter than what you're used to. Like she's being slightly more close and did you catch that? Are you there, Captain?
Can you hear me?
I can now.
Okay. So did I catch what?
Okay, so she's kind of nudging herself pretty close to you, almost in a kind of a not intimate way, but trying to get your attention. Like it might make you slightly uncomfortable.
So, but not in a. Are you saying not in like a sexual way, but
Not in a sexual way, but more, like she's being kind of clingy to you, in a bit.
okay. I don't show any discomfort. That works out well too as we move into the crowd. So I have the strangest feeling that I know you from some time before we met with the incident with your sister not too long ago. I was in this sector as a young commander several years ago. Why don't I have this pulled up? But I can't quite place it. And I'm sure I couldn't mistake you for anyone else.
It's hard to say, Captain. I've traveled quite a bit.
Sorry, I'm pulling up my. I was patrolling this sector of space about 8 years ago aboard the Cincinnatus. You ever remember running into a one warp nacelled Starfleet ship?
I've run into several Starfleet vessels,
Hmm.
Captain, but I'm sure if we met in the past, I would remember.
Still, strangest thing. And I must say, you've always, in our encounters recently, you've always dealt straightforwardly for the most part. And it's certainly, you've kept your word.
I am an honest trader.
And are we kind of in a crowd now where there's a good amount of noise and whatnot?
There is, yes.
No. I kind of lower my voice and kind of lean over where it looks like we're, two lovers talking, but, where I can kind of pitch my voice to her. Which is why I'm rather sorry to have to tell you that our little date is a bit of a ruse on my part. I believe I may need your help.
See, while she's been mostly smiles, she kind of goes a little bit down. It's like, oh, and what sort of help do you require?
Oh, don't be too disappointed, my dear. Any chance to spend a little time with you, particularly over dinner and not over a negotiating table, is well worth it. And I'm very much looking forward to spending this time with you. But I may have found myself in a situation where I will need secure communications outside of the usual channels. And I thought of you. And I thought to myself, perhaps the Lady Sevna would enjoy being owed a favor by the Starfleet Captain assigned to patrol the Trill sector of space.
Go on.
Now, as a Starfleet captain, of course, there are certain things that one simply cannot overlook in the course of one's duties. Armed piracy, slavery, things like that. I'm sure you understand.
Yes, your Federation types are all very sticklers about sort of dealings.
However, that leaves a rather wide range of things that, under certain circumstances, a captain could choose not to see, or even could provide some more direct, although perhaps not directly direct, if you understand, assistance in from should such assistance ever be needed. And of course, dinner's on me.
And what do you need in exchange for this so-called future favor that you would owe me?
Secure communications, communicators between. I need 2 secure communicators for use on the planet's surface, and I just might need a safe place to retreat to, that certain ears in Starfleet wouldn't be able to eavesdrop into. Hopefully not, but just in case.
Without saying too much, you notice that her eyebrow kind of perks up a little bit after you're saying that.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, very well. We'll give you what you asked for. But do pay no mind, it does not come cheap, Captain.
I did not expect it to. And please understand, I am delighted to be able to spend some time with you in an unofficial capacity. And you really do look lovely tonight.
She kind of gives you like a coy look, like she knows like how good she looks.
Mm-hmm. Right.
She's like, but it's one of those like, okay, it's like I'll play the game type vibe that you're getting from her. She kind of lifts up, like, surprisingly, like a communication device out of what she's wearing.
I don't even want to know where you hid that.
It was more like on the side. It's just it was
Right.
well hidden. She pulls it. I was like, and she begins talking to one of her shipmates to have a certain the cargo, like the communication devices, a secure, to be delivered down to the planet's surface, at a certain discrete location. You're having a hard time hearing in the conversation because it's with the noise and everything, and she has it
Right.
on such a low volume. The moment she gets done, she hides the communication device away, and she goes, the communicators will be brought to you later this evening. Now, if you don't mind, I would love to try this restaurant here on Trail Out.
All right. So I will take her to a restaurant, but on the way, if we've passed a florist stall, I'll get her a nice, whatever the trillion equivalent of a rose is, and we'll do my best to show her a really nice time.
Okay. All right. Um, you walk by a boutique shop, find a flower. Um, she's kind of surprised by it. She very much welcomes the gesture.
Mm.
And then I'm assuming you escort her to a fancy restaurant.
Right. No more business talk. Just tales of kind of funny tales of adventures. Good first date kind of stuff.
Okay. All right. Wolfgang, as you're going to you just finished getting the map from the kiosk. Two Starfleet officers approach you that you do not recognize.
I look at their rank badge on their uniform.
One is the male, the one guy who is tall, dark hair, is Lieutenant Commander. The other one she's slightly shorter, and she has the dignity of a full lieutenant.
Commander, Lieutenant.
Commander Wolfgang, I am Lieutenant Commander Luke Harris. This is my colleague, Lieutenant Amelia Allen. Do you mind if we have a moment of your time?
Sure. If you don't mind walking and talking.
So they kind of lead you away to it's less crowded, to where less people could eavesdrop. Nothing out of view of the public eye or anything like that.
We could
Mr.
talk at my shuttle if you want, as they start leading me elsewhere.
No, it's quite all right. I don't know how much you've been briefed, but Lieutenant Allen and I, we're here on looking into the matters of this rogue captain. Have you noticed anything strange from Captain Haggard lately? Like anything suspicious or a specific a odd package that he might have gotten?
You're on assignment with who? Sorry, I didn't quite catch that.
We're from Starfleet Intelligence, Commander. Um, the Lexington brought us here. We're the ones conducting the investigation.
Oh, I see.
And I don't mean to bug you on your shore leave, Commander. I just want to know if you've seen any odd behavior. We think this rogue captain might be. We've uncovered some interesting stuff, to say the least.
Well, if you'll excuse me a moment, I need to verify your credentials before I can talk about my superior officer. I take out my communicator and kind of hold it out like this is what I'm going to do.
Okay.
I flick it open. Wolfgang to Argo.
Argo here. This is. How's your and you recognize the voice? It's Mira. Like, how's your shore leave, Commander?
Productive. Thank you for asking. Could you please give me a personnel check on assignment check on a Lieutenant Commander Harris and a Lieutenant Allen?
Hold on one second.
Standing by. He smiles at the two of them as he waits. Like, yeah, I do this.
It takes a minute as you're awkwardly staring back at them. They're kind of like fidgeting, like, okay.
That's how the Von
This is
Wartburg
expected.
movie.
They kind of thought about it, was like, yeah, this is kind of expected from him. So, she comes back and goes, Commander, they're checks out. They're part of the Lexington crew in charge of the investigation.
And they're currently active?
Yes.
Thank you. Port
Enjoy
out.
your stay. Enjoy your shore leave, Commander.
Thank you.
Mira wants some of that Wartburg.
And I'll
Mira
flip
wants
the
to go on
communicator
shore leave.
closed. Then she's kissing up. I want shore leave. You'll get it in a second. Give me a minute. All right, now that you're verified, to answer your question, no.
Oh, that's kind of relief, but the captain didn't. Nothing suspicious or out of the ordinary. No package that was mysteriously delivered.
Anything that's strange for Haggard? No. As for package, I have not been informed of a package.
Okay, and
would you like me to look into that?
Just to keep you informed, we think this rogue captain might be up to something. We're not entirely sure. Then Lieutenant Allen kind of jumps like, Commander, we do believe we've seen some of the reports that we were able to access from the Trill medical diagnosis of this individual, and she is suffering some sort of psychosis. She may not be mentally stable. And given the fact of what happened to the Atlantis, from what we're still trying to gather information on, that is a deep possibility.
Do you believe the captain is a threat to herself or others? Or are we just talking someone who's just ill?
We believe she could be a threat to herself and others.
Very well. Do you have personal communication frequencies? I can call you if... Oh, go ahead.
Lieutenant Commander is like, yes, we do. And he hands you, it's like, Tune your communicator frequency to this number. Blah blah blah.
278 alpha beta. Got it. All right. Well, there's not much I can tell you so far. I am perturbed that this is happening. Do you have a lot of personnel on this, or is it just the two of you?
We're keeping the investigation team as small as we can.
Makes sense.
Just keep in mind, we know the Argo was permitted for shore leave access.
Mm-hmm.
Be careful and be on the lookout for any strange individuals. We didn't want your crew or anyone to get injured in this matter. And
Thank you
please,
for the
if
warning.
this individual does make contact with you, let us know. She's one of our own. We want to make sure she's safe and no one else gets hurt.
Very well. I will brief you when I feel it is appropriate, and I'll contact you. And if it's particularly urgent, I'll contact you as soon as possible on your personal frequency, save you from having to go through other channels. How need to know is this? Or because I noticed you didn't come with a ship. I mean, you did, but
Well,
you're not a part of one.
it's very need to know. We're not sure. We were assigned by Starfleet Intelligence to investigate this matter, and considering we approached you, just because you're former intelligence yourself. So
The courtesy is appreciated. It would not have been a good thing to have surprised me later on in your investigation.
just sorry to bug you shortly, but if you notice anything strange, please let us know.
Same to you. If you need any assistance from the Argo or myself, be sure to contact me. I may not be able to respond immediately, but I will do everything I can.
Thank you, Commander, and sorry for the intrusion.
Not at all.
And the two walk off.
Damn amateurs. What are you going to do? Walk around with a damn sign on your neck? I'm intelligence. And I'll walk over to the shuttle. And see if I get accosted once again.
No, you get over to the shuttle. Nothing happens.
The door doesn't even open? No, I'm just kidding.
No. Yeah, the door mysteriously does not open.
Oh, no.
In fact, the shuttle's missing.
No.
It's just the door.
Told you, remember where we parked?
But yeah, no, I'll board the shuttle. I'll check with the pilot to see how far away, if he's like sitting in the shuttle, if he's nearby.
He's kind of gone off a little bit sightseeing.
I'm gonna communicate with him.
This is,
Warburg to Ensign.
yes, Commander.
I want you on a 5-minute standby from the shuttle. I may be going on an expedition rather quickly. I'm just getting some things together. So if you're doing some sightseeing, try not to get too far from the shuttle, please.
Yes, sir.
Don't worry. I'll make it up to you for shore leave later. This is kind of important.
Understood, sir.
Warburg out. And I just ruined his sightseeing.
5 minutes away is a bar.
Ooh, I'll deal with that later. But yeah, I will. The hell is I coming back here for? Oh, right. I will from the shuttle. I'll link up from the shuttle computer to the Argo, and I'm gonna re-download the data I wiped from my tricorder onto my temporary datapad. Because I didn't think about that until just now. I was like, wait, I should probably fix that.
All right. Not gonna make a check for it.
I'm also going to pull up the personnel files on the 2 individuals and pull them onto my pad. And I'll keep anything that requires I'm looking more for general service history, not super detailed, because again, I'm not a not super secure data pad, so I don't want to have anything too dangerous on there. But I do want to just get a idea of who these people are.
They're both the Lieutenant Commander. Lieutenant Commander Harris is, in his mid-30s. He's been in Starfleet for quite a while. At least for the past 15 years. He's worked in intelligence for the past 10. As for Lieutenant Allen, which is actually Dr. Milia Allen, she specializes in different sort of more psychology, and think more like what's the term I'm thinking of?
Human intelligence?
Kinda, she's a profiler.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's it. Yeah. Think of more of her, she's like a profiler in a way, that she analyzes people's behavior and the psychology behind it.
Actually, I won't pull it onto my pad, 'cause I just realized I can just read it from the shuttle, and that's plenty encrypted. Just no reason to walk around with that information. I wrote down that this guy had 120 years of intel. That's incorrect. There we go. According to the record, have these 2 worked together before?
Yes.
Okay. And I'm going to make a requisition from the ship for some latinum to be beamed down to my shuttle. Just a brick's
Okay.
worth, not a lot.
So 20 strips.
Yeah.
All right. Get the request in, so that takes a little bit for them to get it to you. But...
Yeah. Not the sort of thing I want to be rushing around doing later. I'm gonna look up. How far am I from the hotel? Am I very far?
Walking distance, probably about 15 minutes.
Okay.
There's like little trams or like, mass transit. They'll get you there,
right.
Relatively quick.
I'm gonna look up the captain, the captain's record. I'll spend some time studying it again, and this one's a little more detailed. I think I looked up this person before another session. Yeah, so he just looks it over just to refresh his memory. Closes it back down. And I don't think there's anything. Oh, is there a spare tricorder in the shuttle?
Opportunity cost.
I'll put it through requisition through the ship, and I'll just wait for them to beam down one of their tricorders.
Okay.
Because actually, how long do I have until I have to meet up with the captain? Because I believe I'm supposed to meet him at a certain local time stamp.
Yeah.
I think it was like 8 o'clock local.
Yeah.
It's getting kind of close to that time frame.
Do I think the ship's science department can get the tricorder down to me before then?
Yeah. It didn't take you long to kind of find the trader, to make the deal, get the information pad. Then you had the conversation. You went back to the shuttle. I would say you probably have about a couple hours.
Okay, so I have a bit of time.
Yeah.
I don't
while
want to
you're
do
kind
anything
of
too
you
then.
were, yeah, and you
Go
were
ahead.
during that time though you were looking up all the information and whatnot.
Yeah.
So
I'll wait on the tricorder there. And while I'm waiting for the tricorder to get to me, I'm going to study the map and get a lay of the land, figure out where places are, find out nice landing spots, or a place to hide a shuttle if I need to, that sort of thing. Just getting acclimatized to the place.
there's several spots you could theoretically hide the shuttle, all over the planet. There's quite a lot of wilderness in certain locations.
Okay.
Like the control population isn't really as high as it is like on Earth and Vulcan and other, core worlds, essentially.
Could I finagle you into providing an advantage for later, for being familiar with the land, so I don't have to keep looking at my map so often? Or if I lose the map, I can kind of remember where certain landmarks are.
You can create that advantage. It'll be a reason plus con. Difficulty is 2, and that's to create the advantage.
That doesn't apply yet. That's kind of what I'm building into. I'm kind of setting up for testing a theory later as well. That's why I'm doing this. I don't have my determination anymore. That's unfortunate. Can I argue, possibly, infiltration focus or astronavigation?
I'll take the infiltration focus.
Okay. Wow, we've been adding to that threat pool a lot. I hate to touch it again.
Did you spend that determination you earned?
I spent it earlier.
Oh, okay.
Have a secure communication device.
Yeah. I'll just roll for it and hope for the best. I have focus. Hopefully it'll work. It's one threat. I'll give you it. I'll give you one.
That's just one.
It's just one threat. Just one.
Hey.
Hey, you get a momentum, and you have the advantage.
I'm just writing that down as a reminder for myself later.
Yeah, lay of the land. So finding a secure location for the shuttle and to hide it is going to reduce the difficulty by 1.
All right. And once I get the tricorder, I'll probably before I go back to the hotel, I'll find a clothing shop and get myself some not too expensive, but because again I'm not trying to spend too much latinum here. That attracts attention. I'm gonna find some outdoor clothing. That's local clothing. Not so much full on camo, but more resilient clothing that can stand up to wear and tear. Not the sort of thing you'd walk around in a town with. Sturdy boots, that sort of thing. Something so I can change out of my Starfleet looking civvy clothes and look and try to blend in a little more, minus the spots.
Okay.
If I can get 2 sets of clothes for the amount of latinum I have, that'd be great. But if not, I'll just get 1 set.
I would say the set's going to cost you 10 strips of latinum for 1.
Okay. Yeah, I'll just get the
not
one.
strips, slips. Sorry.
Oh, slips. Oh, yeah. Okay. Heck, I'll get 2 then if it's just slips.
Yeah, it's just slips.
Cool. And I'll get a bag to put them in, like a duffel to pack them into, and I'll just carry that around. And put my communication device, my pad in there. I'll keep my Type 1 phaser kind of hidden on my person still. And communicator, obviously.
Okay.
Tricorder. I'll put the tricorder in that bag as well, so I don't have an obvious. I have a brick on my hip. So everything but my phaser, I suppose, and communicator. And then I'll head back to the hotel.
Okay, you head back to the hotel. Captain, you had just finished your dinner with Sene.
About time to head back to the hotel, or do we still have some time?
It's getting close.
How was the date part of the evening?
Command plus presence? No. More
I would
successes the
say
better.
she's all smiles. She kind of enjoyed herself, other than the whole favor thing.
Right. Oh well. Well, and I after dinner kind of walk her back towards the hotel. Where do I need to escort you to head back to your ship?
Oh, they'll be beaming me up when I'm ready.
Excellent. I'm meeting my XO at the hotel in a few minutes.
And as you're walking towards the hotel, I'm not gonna say it's a person of shorter stature, almost kind of like, I won't say not a midget, like a dwarf almost like.
Mm-hmm.
Funny years, like a species you've never really kind of seen before comes running up, is like, goes, mistress, and hands her a box, like, thank you. Shakes the box like, the communicators you asked for.
You are too kind, and I do appreciate it.
It's be quite some favor down the road, Captain.
Well, I wouldn't ask unless I thought it was necessary. And next time, I promise, no business. And I lean in and kiss her cheek.
She just smiles. Well then, until next time, Ulysses.
Friendly skies.
And then, what seems to be like maybe her like servant, they walk off into the crowd.
Okay. And I'll head to the bar to meet Wolfgang.
All right. We'll pass by. The two of you meet up.
And I set the. I'll take as I walk back to the hotel. I'll slip one of the communicators into my pocket and leave the other one in the box, and just kind of casually set it between us a little bit closer to Wolfgang when I sit down. How was your day, number one?
I pocket it. Very good. Yours?
Well, if this were opposite day, it would have just been a truly terrible day.
So, Ulysses, where did you find what you were looking for? Because I certainly did.
Indeed, a lovely evening. And most interestingly, I ran into someone who seemed very insistent on telling me about a place on the southern continent, Rue de Chier. Very lovely at sunset, apparently. Musicians and couples and whatnot visit there pretty regularly. I'm not sure what that was all about, if just an over exuberance of friendliness, or if he worked for the tourism agency.
That's interesting. Are you aware that you are being looked into?
Well, I'm not particularly surprised.
Yes, you seem to be someone's Moby Dick.
I beg your pardon?
That is to say that certain people are looking into in connection with something, and I was asked rather than you.
Does this have to do with the asylum claimant?
Yes.
Learn anything new?
Nothing yet, other than we're not the only one. There's more people looking into it than just the Lexington.
You're old friends, eh?
Shall we say acquaintances?
Fair enough.
Friend is a very strong term where I come from.
Huh. I suppose so.
Although everyone's my friend. At least I say they are. I'm going to pull out my, for my duffel, I'm going to pull out my pad, and I'm going to look up this Rue de Sheer place.
You look it up on the pad, and so as you're looking at the place, it's essentially it's an area, it's a cliff that overlooks the ocean in one of the southern continents. Mostly it's kind of a green pasture area. Nothing real remarkable that you would not see otherwise on Earth, for the most part. And it's largely uninhabited.
Does it seem to be listed in any of like the you know how some town maps can be where it'll say, "Hey, check out the beautiful X River, pride of the town," or whatever. Is this one of those tourism? Hey,
No,
you should totally go here things.
it's not. It's not listed at all as a tourism spot.
Haggard's going to. Oh, go ahead.
You can roll insight plus science, difficulty
Science.
1.
There's no focus here. I'll just roll it flat. Hope for the best. My insight science is pretty good. Does lay of the land is the lay of the land thing help with this at all?
It is, kinda.
On the back of that, I would like to see if testing a theory would apply, because I've done a roll similar to this regarding figuring
This
out the
is
land and knowing
more
about
of, it's more as when you're looking at the piece and stuff, you notice that there's some kind of history behind the land. Is what
it. Oh, okay.
you just notice. That's essentially you're just noticing something about the lay of the land.
Would cultural studies as a focus apply?
Sure.
Yeah, I'll just roll with that. Hey.
There you
Make a momentum.
This isn't exactly a tourism spot, Captain. It's kind of out of the, at least it's not officially. If anyone told you that, they're either a local or someone wanted you to meet there for in a very secluded place for a reason.
Oh, well. I certainly didn't know the gentleman, so I think I'll stick with my plan tomorrow to head up to see some of the sites on the northern continent. And I pull up some on my tricorder, and some national planetary parks in the northern continent and all that kind of stuff. And while I'm talking, and Wartburg and I are talking about some of the tourist sites, I want to see if I think there's anybody trying to pay particular attention to us, or trying to surveil us as twere.
Give me insight plus security, difficulty 1.
I'll give you one of those momentum for an extra die. Don't think I have a focus for this. Ooh.
And gain 3 momentum.
Show me up, why don't
There
you?
is
Jeez.
someone. You notice that there is someone kind of in the more of like the lounge section, the trill. He just kind of, as he just glances his eyes toward you and Wolfgang every now and then.
Okay.
There's a funny thing about this place now that I think of it.
What's that?
Well, I was reading up about Trill not that long on our way here, and this place reminds me of something. There's a poet ended his life there. What's his name again? Have a hard time pronouncing it. I believe it's Ralag Rion. So it's not really a tourism thing. It's more of a historian thing. It's important to people like me, not important to people just visiting. Unless they're poets.
Rala Grion?
Yeah, here, let me, if I remember how to spell it correctly, it goes like, oh, and then it crashed.
Oh, and then it crashed, and he disappears.
Yay, Discord.
Yeah. Rala Grion.
Check.
Yep.
Welcome
Okay.
back.
Just crashed out of nowhere. I was like, oh, okay, thanks.
Yep. No, it was hilarious because your audio stayed on long enough for us to hear you say, oh, and then it crashed, and then you disappeared. It was awesome.
All right. But yeah. I'm not particularly familiar with his work, although I suddenly want to be. But yeah. Actually, Captain, if you like, I did bring a shuttle down with me. I could probably just give you a ride over and we can see some of the sights along the way, like out the shuttle window and stuff. I have some clearance to be flying around now, so shouldn't be too bad.
Oh, that might be fun.
It's the simple things that can sensors miss that the eye will catch after all.
True enough. So, north or south tomorrow?
I think we could head north.
Sounds good. Well, and I'm kind of tracing along a map that I pulled up on the tricorder, and I say, I'm thinking if we take this route 46A, looks like regulation airspace. We should do well.
Ah, I see. Yeah. Yeah, I'm familiar with that, actually. Actually, you know what? Why don't we talk with the pilot about it and get him and make sure that he knows how to get there. And he should be able to figure our way from there. I hate second guessing things in the air. I'd rather have the flight plan figured out.
Sounds good to me. Let's go see if the ensign is still sober.
He better be. I already gave him a warning last time I went by. I'll grab my bag and get up to go.
Yep.
All right. You head to the shuttle.
As we approach the shuttle, I want to scan it to make sure it actually is secure like I said it was. Beyond the normal black box like recorder or equivalent that shuttles might have.
Let's go with the reason plus science or security. Difficulty 2.
Using science. Difficulty 2. Infiltration. As in counter infiltration.
Sure.
You said 2. I have not done this roll before, so I don't get a bonus or anything even relevant. Similar. We have plenty of momentum. I'm going to spend one of those for an extra die. And fire.
Ooh.
You gain 3 momentum. There is a tracker on board the shuttle. You find.
Is it on the inside or the outside?
It's on the outside.
I'm going to go to where the device is. Is it somewhere where someone could reach, or would someone have to climb onto it or climb under it?
It's within reach. It's buried pretty much kind of where the nacelles are at. Like, you would have to... It's the... trying to think. The pylons where between the shuttle, the actual shuttlecraft, and where the nacelles sit. It's
that's
right
annoying.
There. Yeah.
That's an annoying spot to put it. My freebie question. As a science officer, is this Starfleet make?
Yes.
Dun dun dun.
I will remove it. I'll attempt to remove it with the knowledge of similar devices I might have worked with and try to see if I can just remove it normally.
This is going to be a control plus engineering.
Before I roll that, Captain.
Difficulty is going to be 3.
Captain, how have you spent much time in the engineering auxiliary courses lately?
I keep up. Why?
Someone decided to attach a device to our nacelle.
Just tracking, or does it listening in on us as well?
Momentum on that, GM.
Just tracking.
It's just a tracker.
We could always leave it on board the shuttle and send the ensign north tomorrow while we see some other sites.
All right. Okay, so let's go inside.
Okay.
That was my primary concern, really. So once the doors close, I'll start putting up set the ship's shields into a sort of a low-level diagnostic to kind of pop them on. But I'm trying to make it so it's obviously not a combat maneuver. It's more of I'm checking that this turns on and off, and I'm modulating the frequency of it to make sure it can work in different frequencies. And I'll make a ping to the to flight control or whoever the controller is for the spaceport that's what I'm doing, and just to let them know, so they're not like, "Oh, why are you putting up your shields?"
Okay.
Yeah, that modulation should last for a little bit. So there's no listening devices in here beyond the emergency recorder. That might be to our advantage. So, what part of how compromised were we in that building?
Well, there was at least one person keeping an eye on us, Trill from appearances. Whether we're dealing with Starfleet and intelligence, Trill intelligence, or friends of this Captain Ray, Mitsugi Ray. I don't know, but whoever approached me this evening definitely wanted me to go to this Rue de Shir alone. Made a lot of noise about poets and musicians going there and how beautiful it was at sunset, and but how it was enjoyed. It could be many people enjoyed it in solitude. So I'm wondering if that's where this Ray is going to want to make contact. In which case, yes, I say we send the ensign with the shuttle to park at the planetary park up north. We figure out some way to make it look like we're aboard, while we maybe get quick last minute. We cash rent a shuttle of our own to head to the southern continent.
Mm-hmm.
Assuming we don't get into any super heavy combat maneuvers. I'm no Sonadel, but
Mm-hmm.
I can fly us right enough.
So where'd you get? I pull out the communicator you handed me. Where'd you get this from, sir?
You may be holding the most expensive communicator you've ever seen. We now owe the Green Star Sisters, particularly Sevna, a favor.
I believe you do, sir, but I'll make sure not to remember that.
Oh, very good.
I also have I've got a communicator that's set up as well. I'll try to tune them together. Well, I'll figure that out on my end. So I'm thinking you do go to this site, and I try to set up somewhere a fair distance away.
Sounds
So I
right.
can still observe and keep and help you out if you need be.
Sounds right.
Oh, other thing. That box you were holding,
Mm-hmm.
intelligence knew you were getting it. They didn't necessarily know. They might not know what was in it, but they knew you were getting a package. And they wanted me to tell them if you got one.
And
Now,
I'm assuming.
Go ahead, sir.
I'm assuming you didn't.
You didn't get a message. All I have to do is tell them the honest truth.
Fair enough.
But it is. I will say that these are actual intelligence officers, and they have a fair amount of experience. The fact that they're looking at you, or at least the package you were getting, is interesting, and they seem to be making allegations that the captain is unstable. So, which is usually either the honest truth, and they're just honestly worried about this person. Believe me, people in intelligence do have hearts. It's not a myth. But if I were to tell someone who wasn't part of my assignment what I was up to, I might say a person I wanted to capture might be ill, and I'm just here to help them.
It's interesting that since, as far as we know, the Federation is intending to honor the asylum, that they would come to you rather than just to me, asking whether or not this captain had attempted to make contact.
Well, either this captain's up to something that they don't want public, or they're trying to make this captain is doing something that's intelligence or someone in command doesn't want. Some problems need to be solved unofficially sometimes, and that might be what they're up to. Nothing particularly nefarious, I wouldn't think. You wouldn't I mean, they sent down uniformed officers who told me what their name was in a public place. They're not trying too hard.
Agreed. However, I think maybe I'm just being paranoid, but we did recently have a Federation admiral shut down our ship and give illegal orders to exterminate a species that we had made peaceful contact with. So,
yeah, that's why I'm kind of itchy about this as well.
And maybe we're just making too much out of Leighton's contact with Marcus, but let's see what we can see. So yeah, let's pull up a map and see if there's like a town or something fairly near to these cliffs, where Wolfgang could loiter while I go out to the cliffs themselves? And...
Well, based on the advantage that Wolfgang got, there was a town. It has been abandoned for quite some time, near the cliffs. From what you can tell, no one lives there, at least not according to the Trill database. At least not for the past 150 years.
Is there any travel advisory about that place? Like,
there isn't. For the most part, it's deemed safe. It's just not desirable living conditions.
oh,
It's plagued by storms quite often.
I'm gonna look up this poet through the shuttle computer and talking to the local database.
Okay. You can spend a momentum. I'll just tell you.
Sure.
The poet in question, he lived about 500 years ago. Think he was kind of like a grim poet. Seemed like he suffers through what you consider some sort of psychosis from every now and then. But he wrote a lot of beautiful things. He also wrote several theater plays as well. He lived in that adjacent town near those cliffs. He ended his life by jumping off the cliffs, falling to his death over what appeared to be a breakup of some kind.
What was it, 150 years ago?
500 years ago.
500. I knew that was wrong. There we go.
So
well, that's not ominous at all.
Get the shuttle, park it near enough where you can either hide out in the shuttle or make your way into the abandoned town, and I can go to the cliffs and keep it open, secure comm, and see what there is to see.
Okay, that sounds good. What we're going to need to do, though, depends how quiet we want to be, though, how much we want to disappear. Because through devices such as our tricorder or communicator, there are ways to track down officers. Now, I'm going to leave a lot of my personal gear behind because I'm trying to lower my signature, to put it in ship terms. I'm trying to make myself less visible. However, I would advise you, both as a operative and an officer, that you may want to hang on to your communicator in the event you need to leave in a hurry, care of the ship. And I can get my own way out fairly easily, since I'll be at a safe distance and I'll be less visible than you are.
But
I have
my
vocal garment
communicator. Well, my communicator also made me easily trackable.
That's the thing, yeah. We could theoretically use the communicator you have. Actually, GM, I want to check over the communicator that the captain got and see if it has the range to talk to the ship.
Which one?
The one that Haggard has.
Oh, and part of my deal with the Lady 70 was a possible need for a safe space. So either for me or the captain, the rogue captain, or both. So.
Oh, I see what you're doing. Yeah, okay.
So in for a penny, in for a pound, number one.
The range, it is a secure communicator. The range is fairly long. It's very similar to the model that you picked up from the merchant.
Okay.
So would it?
It should. If it can reach across the continent, it should be able to reach the ship. Yeah.
Okay.
So you could use it. So in that case, sir, you could, from the look of this device, it looks similar to the one I bought. you could just buy that in the future, so you can just buy these and mod them. You didn't need to make that big a favor.
Well,
it costs the price of a tricorder. Like, it's not much.
fair enough, number one.
But hey, we made a contact, and we've proven that she's someone we can talk to for later use. But yeah, in that case, sir, I agree. You could leave your personal communicator behind and contact the ship through that. And given your rank, you should be you won't be given too much bureaucratic nonsense on the way back up.
What about my phaser? Could they use that to track?
Type 1, you can track the battery pack for it, the energy signature, but it's tiny. It's hard to detect. But you wouldn't you wouldn't necessarily put a tracker in that. If I was going to track you, I'd track you through your communicator because it already broadcasts, or your tricorder, which also broadcasts.
That's what I thought. So, how do we fake out any human operatives that we want to see us get on this shuttle? We'll leave all of our trackable stuff here to go with the ensign. And but how do we make it seem like we're getting on board when we don't actually get on board?
We get on board, and then we have a site, and once we get up in the air and away from tricorder range, we'll have to be fairly high up because tricorders, especially if they're modded, can actually scan fairly far. And once we have our shields up, and we'll do another modulation excuse, it should hold up. Once our shields come back down again, we'll beam up. We'll go site to site from the shuttle to somewhere else in the town. We'll need to find out where we're getting our ride though first, because we need to beam there, get on, and leave before anyone realizes that we've shifted around. Because if they have enough resources, they might have either planet side scanning, watching the shuttle, or a ship, the Lexington in particular, or the Argo for that matter.
Fair enough. I'll use a public information kiosk to find some appropriate rental places.
Actually, I'll thinking on it. No, you'll have to look it up because I have a good idea of the land, but I don't know the various stores off the top of my head.
Right. I'm sure this hotel data will have it, but I'm not sure I entirely trust it since I was making no secret of where I was staying.
That's a good thing. It gives them a familiar place. If you're too hidden right away, it tends to attract attention.
My thoughts too. I think you're rubbing off on me, number one. I'm not sure how to feel about that.
Educated, sir. Educated.
Is that the word?
Space is a scary place, sir. Even especially off the ship.
Yeah, never get off the ship again. So, I think we have a plan, number one.
All right.
I'll see you in the morning.
In the morning, sir.
Sleep well. And,
never do.
On the way back to the hotel, I'll stop at a public information kiosk and make several different touristy kind of queries and download some information about the northern planetary parks. And somewhere in there, just random searchings gets a couple of different locations for, doesn't necessarily have to be a shuttle, but some sort of, planetary range transport rental thing, air car or whatever. What I'm saying is it doesn't necessarily have to be like, space capable, just, and then
yeah, it will actually cost you 2 strips of Latinum.
Okay.
For the rental.
Okay. But I've got the locations, right?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. And then I'll head back to the room and catch some sleep until the morning.
Okay. And as for what Wolfgang is doing?
I'm gonna call back the pilot for the shuttle and brief them on our intention to fly to the northern continent. So for now, I don't need him to be on standby anymore, so he can kind of relax for a little bit, hang around on our planet, and then be ready for morning for a flight. And also to prepare.
So yeah, I did spend 2 threat for a complication. He's slightly drunk. He kind of let them alone for like several hours, and he got bored. He was like, "I'm on shore leave."
Ensign,
Whatever.
can I ask you a question?
Yeah, yes, sir.
Are you wearing a Starfleet uniform right now?
No, sir. I thought this was shore leave, and I was your chauffeur when you needed me.
Oh boy.
I'm fine. Don't worry about it.
Think you could sober up for morning?
That's no problem, sir. Their alcohol is very weak.
That alcohol is weak.
Don't worry about it. I'll be fine in the morning. Just a nasty headache. Nothing, nothing little, nice hydroxide injection won't cure.
Do you do this often on short leave, Ensign?
He's a sailor.
No, sir. It's just, being stuffed up on the ship for, 4 months is...
Oh, 4 whole months. Oh, poor dear. In the future, Ensign, if you're escorting around a command level officer on a shuttle, I would advise you, if you want to go up in rank, that is, to not get inebriated, shall we say, to the degree that your officer can smell you from across the room. Nothing been written up because you are on shore leave and you can use your time as yours, but free advice, read between the lines, Ensign. If you're not sober by tomorrow morning, you're being sent up to the ship and you can spend your shore leave up there. How's that sound?
Noted, sir.
Very good. If I smell one whiff and the captain gets the smell of that, you're not going to like what happens later. All right?
Yes, sir.
Friend, I grab him on the shoulder and kind of squeeze it and just smile at him like, don't you dare.
Understood, sir.
Good. Enjoy the rest of your shore leave. Until morning.
Oh,
I let go of him.
I brushed off. There was some mechanics want to look at the shuttle. I sent them away. I'll check the engines first thing in the morning. Make sure they're all right.
Come with me, Ensign.
What?
We're checking now.
Oh, all right. Yep. All right. Lead the way, sir.
I'll lead ahead of him and walk him back to the shuttle.
Okay.
Once we get in scanning range, I'm going to see if the tracker's still there.
Yes, the tracker's still there.
What were they working on, Ensign?
It was some sort of inspection crew.
Right. And did you put in a request for a maintenance cycle for this shuttle?
No, sir. That's why I brushed him away.
Well, merit for you, Ensign. You just did something smart. Good for you. What were they? Did they touch the shuttle at all? They just approach it.
They did leave their hands on that shuttle. I'm pretty fond of it. I threw them, told them they had to stay out. That it was Starfleet property.
Very good. I'm gonna scan over the shuttle to see if anything was added, and I'll ask him when that happened. I'm not really caring what he says. I'm kind of just scanning, and I'm just having him there to cover me without him knowing
Spin
he's covering
momentum.
me.
You already have you've already done the scan on the shuttle, so just you can spend
Yeah.
that momentum.
Sure, I won't fight you on that.
So as he's discussing when that happened, you notice that the tractor was placed on the shuttle around the same time. That's what the ensign told you.
Okay, so it lines up. It's not a new thing. It's the same thing.
Yeah. As for the engines, everything's fine. There's nothing seems like it was tampered with.
All right, Ensign. Good job on brushing them away, and thank you for the information. I would advise writing up a report about the brush up if you haven't already. Write that up just for the security logs and for something for me to look over later. We'll have to talk with the Trill about their mechanics in the future so they don't accidentally approach a Starfleet vessel like that without authorization.
I don't think they were Trill. I didn't see any spots. I thought they were just some hired off-worlders to work at the starport.
Do you happen to know what they looked like?
A human, almost tall.
One
I
male,
think the other
around
one.
30s or so.
Yeah. That one was short. Wore a hat. Didn't really get a good look at their face.
Was the other have a female, slightly shorter than the other one? Seemed to be looking at you intently.
Actually, they didn't see their face at all. The other one just dealing with the guy who's kind of rude.
I see. Very good. Write up what report you can remember. Get some notes. I would advise, since you're inebriated, to just get some bullet points and then just fill it out later. Because although you are rather lucid, writing a report while inebriated is not something you want a superior to be reading. Sonadel might let you
Will
loose
do,
on a few
sir.
things, but she'll tear you a new one later.
Understood, sir. I'll leave out the drunk part.
You might want to, yeah.
He kind of gives you a salute with two fingers.
You're
Commander,
dismissed.
you're an all right guy. Really are.
Thank you.
I'm gonna get some shut eye.
You do that, Ensign. And a nice long cold shower in the morning.
Understood, sir.
I'll flip up my communicator. Wolfgang to Argo.
Argo here.
I want a security detail assigned to my shuttle. There were some unauthorized personnel who tried to approach it. I just want to make sure it's safe for my journey tomorrow morning.
Understood, sir.
Also, how are the diagnostics doing? Anything pop up?
No, sir. Everything looks green across the board.
All right. I want some lower level diagnostics. We'll go down to level 2. We'll check over them again. If there isn't any level 1 still left, we'll start on a level 2 just to double check to make sure that more to check the diagnostic systems. And but let's leave the transporter and the systems and the shuttle systems free, just so people can get shore leave faster. We don't have to slow anyone down. And as for yourself, taking some shore leave. I know I've had you on the line for the last few hours, so I don't want you stuck at your console for the whole trip.
Yes, thank you, sir. I will send out a request in for a security team to be down for rotating shifts, and then I will take some shore leave.
Very good, thank you. Just tell them to meet me at the shuttle, and I'll brief them.
Yes, sir.
Have a good day, Ensign.
You too, sir.
Hey, I was right.
That's gonna be a momentum, I think, threat spend.
Yeah.
Or threat for a security team.
Yeah. I don't want to mess with this thing anymore. And I'll tell the security team that no one is to approach that vessel other than myself, the pilot of the shuttle, and the captain. No one else is authorized to touch it, scan it. And if they do, contact me immediately.
Yes, sir. And 2 guards kind of guard the shuttle.
I'll at that point I'll probably head to, I'll start heading toward the hotel, and I'm gonna call my friends in intelligence.
Okay.
Got some information for you. If you want to meet me at the hotel, I'd appreciate it.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Commander. We'll meet you there within 5 minutes.
See you there.
So, sorry, I had to step away. What had they tried to do to the shuttle?
They're the ones who put the darn tracker on there.
Okay. The intelligence guys or somebody else?
The intelligence guys. It's my guess anyway.
Okay.
So you're back at the hotel. Assuming near the bar again.
Yeah. Still carrying around my duffel.
And you see both Lieutenant Commander Harris and Lieutenant Allen approach you. It's at the bar. Commander?
Officers? How's your day going? Get anything good done today?
We're following some leads.
Oh.
Nothing I can't really say too much about. You know the drill.
Oh, I do. So, what I can tell you is the captain did get a package. But
you see his kind of perks up a little bit.
Hmm?
He perks up a little bit, like, oh, okay. Type.
Although it also seems that someone else is watching our captain. Trill, I think he was. Are you working with local intelligence on this? Or is that news to you?
And you can tell by his face as he kind of looks and says, like, had no idea about this individual. No, did not realize. Is he being followed?
Not that I noticed right away, but people are keeping an eye on him. Actually, I suspect that certain matters that Captain and myself are looking into are being scrutinized a little bit, and I'm not entirely sure why. Since you're the only ones who should be scrutinizing, as far as I'm aware.
I don't follow, Commander.
What I'm saying is you might want to check your own six and see if you're being watched or if someone's looking into the same thing you are, because I get the feeling you're not the only one playing chess right now. And that's a problem because you had no idea you were playing with someone else. So careful is all I'm advising you on that. And if you want more help from me regarding this, you're going to have to loop me in a bit more because I'm not an asset. I'm your superior officer, and a veteran of the intelligence service. No intelligence is free. I'm just telling you what you should already know.
Give me a command plus presence difficulty 2.
Sure. Team dynamics? I am trying to work with them a bit here.
Not in this case.
Chemistry. I poisoned them. No. That doesn't apply. That doesn't apply. I'll spend a momentum for extra die. No, there's nothing I can do about that without burning, and I don't want to do that right now. Darn. Oh well. Unless they can succeed at cost, but I don't see how.
You can, but there'll be a complication with that, and I'm going to take 2 threat for the complication you rolled.
I'll roll with that, yeah.
Very well, Commander. What do you know about Captain Mitsurugi Ray?
I repeat to them what I know from the official report. A summary, so I'm not literally reading off their entire service history.
I don't think you looked up their log, history.
I thought I looked them up last time around. Hold on.
No,
that was the
Captain
Layton.
Lynch.
Or yeah, Lynch.
Come to think of it, I actually looked into Captain Lynch more than the person you speak of. Wait, actually, wind that back. I think I remember looking up Mitsuki Ray. Oh no, I didn't. There's a reason why I didn't do that. Never mind. No, I will tell him the honest truth. No, I don't know that person.
Captain Mitsurugi was a commander of the USS Atlantis 19 years ago. The ship was responding to a distress signal when it diverted course suddenly and then disappeared. All hands were presumed to be lost. We're trying to figure out why.
Forgive me, but that seems like
rogue captain is Mitsubishi Ray, is Captain Mitsurugi Ray.
I remember the Atlantis and its disappearance. It was in a report I remember reading about a while ago. And you believe that this is the same person? For sure.
We do indeed.
All right. Well, what I can tell you is that I am looking into this person as well for a separate matter. I seem to be playing on the same board as you are. I just didn't know it until now. How long have you been on this assignment?
We do have record.
Like, were you just put on this, or have you been at this for a while? I don't need specific start dates.
we were just put on this. The case went cold 18 years ago. And just now we get information that was relevant to the case. Hell, the
Wait a
original
minute.
people that worked on it are no longer even in Starfleet anymore. Some have even passed away.
How do you know her psychological profile if you haven't found her yet?
It's because we found evidence that she was treated here on Trillius Prime.
Do you have a copy of those records?
We do, but a lot of them, for some reason, have been redacted by the Trill. We've been getting stonewalled by them the past week that we've been at this.
Well, let me have a look at them. I have a bit of medical experience myself, although I imagine your doctor here is far more briefed on such matters. I do have certain things I might be able to glean from it, redacted or not.
She, out of her little carrying case, she pulls out a pad, pulls it over, is like, I will go over the information with you, Commander, if you so like, says Lieutenant Allen.
I would appreciate the assistance, Doctor.
Unfortunately, the name of the patient was redacted due to Asylum and certain laws that the Trill have. The one thing that we did get a hold of was that the individual was a human female of Asian descent that matches most of the criteria for Captain Mitsurigi. For what we understand is that the Trill doctors treated her for massive electrical burns, as well as she suffered from several forms of psychosis, either during her time for injury. One of the physicians realized that she was potentially tortured. But a lot of the data stuff was redacted, and this is all the Trill were willing to, the Trill doctor or medical society was willing to give us.
I'm going to read over the file that they have, and I'm going to see if my character. This is a long shot. I'm going to see if this lines up with. Actually, correct me if I'm wrong, GM. How briefed am I on how Sophia interacts with people? Like, do we know about how she can mess with their minds and all that fun stuff, or?
You're not briefed on that.
Shoot. Then I'll. That line of path doesn't work. I'm going to read over the file and see what type of psychosis they seem to think she has, or what the patient has, and try to figure out if how severe it might be, or what kind of trigger that might make it worse might be. Under the assumption that I'm probably going to meet this person later, and I might have to figure them out. I'm trying to prep myself with for interacting with this person.
Give me Insight plus Medicine, difficulty 1.
I will take those odds. Insight medicine. Sorry, Captain, I do my homework. Fudge muffins. No focus. I'm not giving you more threat. You have plenty. Bang. Oh, well.
The only thing I'm going to give you on it, as you're looking through the data, that the psychosis is, it seems like she's delusional.
Whew. Okay, this is different notations than I'm used to. I'm not even sure what that is. I point at one of the words I don't understand.
And she kind of says it out loud, like trying to guide you through it.
And, Doctor, there's a reason you have a doctorate and I don't. Thanks, anyway.
4 years of medical school and 4 years of the academy.
Well, since you shared information, I'll tell you that there is Orion involvement in this matter, but they're not one of the players. They're just one of the pieces right now. If I know more, if I see that there's more involvement, I'll be sure to give you a heads up. But I just want to make sure, again, we weren't crossing paths unnecessarily.
Yes, Commander, we're trying to get to the bottom of this, says Lieutenant Harris.
Apparently, so am I. Anything you want to give me a heads up on?
Thanks for letting us know that there's a potential another party looking into this. Just watch your back, Commander.
You too.
And they gather their things and they leave.
I'll head up to my room and try to rest. Somewhat perturbed by the fact they have yet to alert me to the tracking device. I'm like, huh, interesting.
That's the complication. That was the complication. They're like, we better not tell him that.
He seems kind of mad.
So yes, Captain, is there anything you want to do before we go to the next day?
Nope, I'm good.
Oh, okay. Scene changed, no momentum, but next day arrives.
So I head to the shuttle, and since I just realized that the time that was mentioned for the place in the southern continent was sunset, why don't we actually, with our communicators and stuff, spend the day hitting these northern sites until such a time as we need to make the switch and rent the flyer to head south. Give us even more verisimilitude in our movements.
That makes sense to me.
Okay. For the sake of time, I guess, the two of you, along with a now somewhat hangover pilot, it's got a little bit more flush to the face. Might have misjudged the Trill whiskey. Flies you over, surprisingly to pretty well for someone who was drunk the night before, to the northern continent, to several national parks.
Right.
I want to say planetary parks, so national parks. Would it be planetary parks?
Planetary government, so
yeah.
Maybe regional parks. Who knows?
Yeah. So yeah, several different landmarks.
Right.
Actually, during that our little tour, I'm going to ask about the ensign's schooling and history a little bit, like under the guise of getting to know him. But I'm actually checking if he works with intelligence, without letting him know that's what I'm checking for.
The ensign goes through a whole spiel of where he grew up at, over in North America. Talked about how his dad was a pilot, he's a pilot, his grandfather was a pilot. Sort of runs in the blood of the family. Let's just say somewhere in Northern California.
I was on the other coast.
And I was on the upside of the continent. What? Ensign?
Commander?
I am going when we get back. I'm going to need you to stick with the shuttle and be ready to fly. Okay?
Okay.
As of right now, you are on unofficial duty.
So that means
And the
no
reason
drinking afterwards, right?
that means you
Got
don't leave the shuttle. If you want to eat, you eat from the rations.
Yep, your leave is temporarily canceled, Ensign. I don't know how much I'll be able to explain to you later, but this is by my direct orders. So consider yourself on duty and under the captain's orders. Is that understood?
Understood, sir.
Mm.
I just hope I don't get into the meatloaf package. These things never
Free-
taste right.
Free tip: break it up. Don't eat it as a chunk. Just Why they don't add ketchup is beyond me.
All right. The commander and I are on a separate mission that is classified, and so your actions as part of this are as classified as well. Do you understand?
Understood, sir.
Excellent. I know we can count on you.
When the captain says that, I kind of wink at him, like trying to encourage him, like, "Hey, see what happens when you're sober."
Unfortunately,
He just
Ensign
kinda,
takes this.
What?
The captain doesn't believe what he just said.
It's like my shore leave just got ended like premature. This is just kind of gives you look like, really?
I just smile.
So yeah, when the time comes, we make that switcheroo we talked about to be beamed from the shuttle to someplace in the city near one of the air car rental places.
All right. Are you trying to be stealthily? You get back to you get back to the capital. You kind of go off in your own directions. The poor ensign, stays by the shuttle, sulking. So are you trying to be stealthily towards, or trying to weave your way, like not suspicious, not to attract attention?
Yeah, the whole plan is, be bopping around, just, winding up the day back in the city, and then, trying to bore any tails to death. And
I was
then,
actually thinking of beaming, of us just beaming from before the shuttle lands. We just beam off and we just don't get off the shuttle. That way, someone watching for the shuttle goes, "And where did they go?"
oh, that's true too.
But all our tracking stuff's in their things. Cool, they're still in the shuttle. It makes our transporter chief's life harder, but
It's true.
it's a site to site. But
So you're wanting to do a site-to-site transport?
Yep.
Okay. The both of you?
Yep, all the shuttles in the air, and we'll leave all the trackable stuff on the shuttle.
Alright, this is gonna be difficulty 4, if I'm not mistaken.
and we're gonna need one of our supporting guys to do it.
Activate Anders.
You have plenty of supporting. Yeah, difficulty 4, control engineering, assisted by the ship's sensors plus engineering.
Okay. We do not have any momentum, do we?
No.
Okay. Pull up the Argo too. Okay, so we will use Anders, who has transporters, so there's a focus. He has my crew is my family is a value to spend a determination on for this.
Oh, I see why you talked about momentum. Darn, that would have been nice.
Will you take that, Prax?
No.
We're not family anymore. He doesn't like us.
Okay, well, this is another activation, so we can technically give him a new value. do 5th activation note here. So let's see. What would be a good value for the transporter chief?
Something to do with the fact that he's a transporter chief and he's been getting better. He's been basically the guy that does it.
Right. Play a transporter like a violin.
Okay.
Because we basically had to do a lot of
Yeah, he
very
does
hard
like all of the
transporter
hard transporter stuff because Martel's never around for that, or he's one of the people beaming.
Next season, he becomes our Chief O'Brien. Someone has to play him.
Yeah. Well, it's
Once
not going
he's
to be too
fully
long until
upgraded.
he's got fully upgraded. Yeah. So yeah, he will spend his determination on play the transporter like a violin to get an automatic success. He has technical expertise, so he can re-roll 1d20 when attempting a task assisted by the ship's computers or sensors. So that's 2. I'll give you a threat for a 3rd die for him.
2 threat because we're giving him an automatic.
2 threat. Okay. So here is his roll. Oof. And then the ship is what?
Sensor
Sensors
science?
engineering.
Oh, sensor engineering.
You have advanced sensors, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Advanced difficulty 3.
Woo.
Okay. Sensors engineering. Okay, and I'm going to re-roll that complication since I've got technical expertise. Okay. So that's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 total. You go, Anders.
All right, 3 momentum gained.
3.
Nice.
And as you disappear, the ensign just kind of waves. As he takes the shuttle back to the starport. The 2 of you materialize in the ruins of the old town that are near the cliffs.
Fair enough.
I'm gonna change my clothes into the outdoor wear.
I'm figuring since we were doing national parks or whatever, we probably were already dressed for hiking about.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd say you already
did that.
And the captain with his phaser 1 in his jacket pocket or whatever, at where you can get to it fairly quickly, will go for a walk by the cliffs as the sun starts heading towards sunset, and I will leave the communicator channel open.
I'm going to before the captain heads out, I'm going to pull out the local pad with the map and let the captain know where I'm going to roughly where I think I'm going to be hiding, so he knows where to look or where to run.
Yeah, and I'll kind of match the map with the actual terrain so I can spot some landmarks. So
okay.
I kind of know.
So I need a control security from Wolfgang to essentially hide yourself.
Control security. Infiltration applies, hopefully.
It does. You'll be setting the difficulty for this.
Oh, I'm setting the difficulty?
Yeah, you're setting the difficulty. So I have to, essentially, it's going to be a pose check.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah. So the more the better. I am going to do... I haven't stuck around, so testing a theory doesn't apply. It's the first time I've done it. So I will spend a momentum for a die. Do you want me to leave those 2 on the table there, Cap, in case you need them?
If you need them, use them.
Yeah, I should. I'll use the extra 2 to buy up to 4. It's expensive, but I want to get as many hits as possible. Control security. Anything else I can do? Not really. Okay, let's go for it. Bang. Oh, give me a break.
What's your difficulty?
I only have 1 right now.
Oh, that's right. You're setting it.
Yeah. I'm trying to think if I can challenge a value. I'm just gonna have to eat that. I have no value that I could challenge that makes sense. Like maybe my subordinates must outlive me, but no, it's not really what's. I'm not really making sure I live. I'm making sure my captain lives. So yeah, that's unfortunate.
Okay. I do need both of you. Well, it's pretty much safe terrain in a way. So, Commander, you find your location that's kind of eyesight-wise towards where the captain is heading. So you at least stay in visual range. But you do kind of hide yourself in some of the brush and trees. But unfortunately, this location, there isn't a lot of good hiding spots really. It's kind of open in a way.
Mm-hmm.
So, but Captain, you come, you overlook, it is sunset. You see the sun slowly starting to rise down the ocean, and out comes a older Asian woman, kind of wearing a cloak in a way. It's hooded. You can see your face. She comes out and she is holding a older Type 2 phaser. She's not pointing at you. She just has it in hand. She goes, "I was hoping you would arrive yesterday, Captain."
Well, there are lots of people looking for you, so it seemed to me the safer route to try to throw off any surveillance I could. So I spent the evening arranging some secure fallback positions in the day, touring sites on the northern continent that I didn't want to see. However, there are some beautiful places up there. You're Captain Mitsugi, I presume?
Yes, and you could tell your first officer he can come out.
I'll signal to Wolfgang.
I'll stand up and walk over.
You really have to work on that, number one.
I'm working with a plane, sir. Give me a break. Captain?
Captain Mitsugi Ray, Commander Wolfgang von Wartburg, my first officer, and a man I've known and worked with for years and trust implicitly.
And former Starfleet intelligence, working on Case 7.
Indeed.
You're informed.
And if you know that, then you know that the Cincinnatus under my command was seconded to that intelligence operation at one point. So I'm not exactly innocent of intelligence work myself. However, neither of us is involved with the current effort to find you.
And you're aware your first officer was talking with the two that are hunting me.
Yes, the two who probably put the tracker on our shuttle, which required a tricky site-to-site beaming to get us off of there, sans our normal communicators and tricorders to get us here, leaving, hopefully, the lieutenant and lieutenant commander thinking that we're still aboard our shuttle whiling away our shore leave.
I'm not sure how much long we have, Captain. They might trace that transporter signal.
Well, then perhaps you should tell me why you so desperately wanted to meet. Starfleet says you're crazy. Are you?
No more crazy than you are, Captain, for sitting in that chair.
Well, it does take a certain amount of insanity to take that level of responsibility. So why? Why seek asylum on Trill and hide out for almost 20 years?
I just don't know who to trust anymore, Captain. Even some of the people that I have friends with that are still in Starfleet have gone missing.
Well, if one of the people you don't trust is named Marcus, then we're in the same camp on there.
What do you know about what happened to my ship?
I look at number one with an eyebrow raised.
From what I recall from a not very detailed report, your ship went out to investigate Sophia on Arcanus, and it would appear that your ship vanished without a trace, and then the planet was locked down under General Order 7, or similar order anyway. And as far as Starfleet's understood, you and your ship were lost with all hands until recent events.
That's
In fact, as far as Starfleet's aware, you just popped into existence about a few months ago.
It's partially correct. The Atlantis was ordered by Admiral Marcus to rendezvous with the USS Aegir and Tempest. But we weren't supposed to head to Sophia. Or not Sophia. S09H14. We were set to rendezvous with the two vessels to then go aid the Azure. They're under attack at the time.
The Tempest and the who did she say?
The Azure.
They were going to rendezvous with the Azure and Tempest, then to proceed to aid the Azure.
Ah.
So what happened? You never made it to the rendezvous.
The Azure and the Tempest are attacking us without provocation. They nearly destroyed my ship, Captain. I lost 25% of my crew in the first volley.
Wolfgang looks visibly upset, but he just doesn't say. He just stands there.
Two Starfleet vessels attacking a third for no good reason? That's a bit hard to believe, Captain.
Telling me, Captain. It's my second year in command of the Atlantis. I could never conceive an idea where another Federation starship would attack one of its own. But it happened.
Are you sure they were Federation vessels?
The signature and the identification codes all matched when we approached both ships.
GM is Enterprise's encounter in the mirror universe in 2265 part of the record and something that Haggard and Wolfgang might know?
To a degree, yes. But it's never heard of that ships would cross over.
That's true. Usually it's just people.
Right.
It's always been people.
Captain, we're a few years after the Atlantis disappeared. Captain Kirk aboard the Enterprise discovered a kind of parallel universe, switching through some sort of transporter accident. He and members of his command staff switched places with their evil twins, for the lack of a better word, in a universe where the Federation was a human-dominated empire bent on galactic conquest. According to Kirk's logs, the ISS, Imperial Starship, I suppose, Enterprise, was almost exactly the same in every respect as the USS Enterprise, the Constitution class vessel, but put to a much darker purpose.
I thought that possibility too, Captain, but there are some things within Starfleet intelligence that they don't tell everybody, and typically a starship will have a different quantum signature.
And you checked for this quantum signature.
After we looked into that, and the quantum signature matched our own universe.
She's right, sir. It's the sort of thing we've looked into before. Be one of the first things an int officer or captain might have been would have done in that case. I would have done it.
Haggard rubs his face and kind of looks thoughtfully out over the ocean below. Why in hell would the ships attack you? Number one, you said the Atlantis diverted from the attempt to go to the assistance of the USS Azure.
Oh, yes, sir.
So what was your diversion, Captain?
We were ordered by Admiral Marcus to divert. Instead of meeting up with the location where the Azure was, we were to divert course and meet up with the Azure and Tempest.
Marcus again.
Captain, I recommend that we get the captain here somewhere safer before, so we can discover who is safe to talk to currently about her situation. Because right now, as this being a Federation world, intelligence is going to find her eventually. It's just a matter of time.
True enough. Captain, what do you need from us?
Allies. I'm not sure how deep this corruption goes, but...
Well, I thought you might need a place to lay even lower for a while, so I've made arrangements. However, they are somewhat unusual.
That won't be necessary, Captain. I have a place.
Are you sure? You know as well as I do that Starfleet intelligence is very good.
Been hiding out for 19 years, Captain. They haven't found me yet.
Be aware that Admiral Marcus is now Fleet Admiral Marcus, and I know from bitter experience that for certain keywords or who knows what encounters, that at least my ship has been programmed with some sort of virus that shuts it down and alerts him directly. And he's not above trying to give illegal orders to my crew. I'm no fan of Marcus. You can be sure of that.
Captain, might your friends be able to arrange for passage out of here?
Oh, I'm sure they could, number one, for a prize. Interested, Captain?
Perhaps, but I do have arrangements that I could get myself safely off of Trill.
If you're sure, my uh-oh.
Right where you're standing, you find there are 4 individuals. 2 of them you recognize, Wolfgang, and 2 look like fully bodysuit armored Starfleet security officers. And Captain Mitsurugi, seems kind of shocked and is like, "This is not good, Captain."
This isn't me, Captain.
And Commander Harris kind of speaks out. "Captain Mitsurugi Ray, please, you can come in now. We're here to help you." And she just shakes her head like, "No, I'm not going."
I'm going to walk in up to Ray and stand between her and them, just to make sure there's not a direct line to her.
Right. Yeah, Haggard will move to a similar position from kind of blocking the lines of fire as well from a different direction.
Lieutenant Allen speaks up. "Captain, Commander, the captain here is not well. She's suffering from clear psychosis. She's become delusional."
And yet she has been granted asylum by the Trill government, and I don't see a representative from them here, making it an illegal operation for Starfleet to remove her, unless you have some authorization from the Trill government that I am unaware of. Also, it is my understanding that the Federation Council is inclined to honor this asylum arrangement.
"That may be so, Captain, but we're not going to take her off of Trill. We just want to ask her some questions."
By what authority?
He's got a point there,
Authority
officers.
is not. That is need to know basis, says Lieutenant Commander Harris.
Well, I'm assuming that the Trill government would need to know, so let's just give them a call, shall we, since you're wanting to interrogate someone that they've given legal asylum to. And I pull out my communicator. Haggard to Argo.
Someone who's not else.
Someone mirrors them.
It's not Mira. Yeah.
Okay.
Argo, here, Captain.
Do I recognize the voice?
No, not really. Someone from like Gamma Shift.
Gamma Shift, right.
Mirror's on leave, sir.
No. Who am I speaking to? Namey McName, sir.
I'm trying to think of one. Ensign Ramsey. Let's go with that.
Let's see. Find a name here in my notes. Ensign Ramsey, connect me with the. Let's see. Connect me with the Trill Foreign Office, please. Let's see. What was his name? Sorry, guys. I'm trying to find it in my. Ambassador Prell, if he's available, since we helped him out with that little negotiation.
I will try to patch you through, Captain.
I'm gonna say something in code to the captain, alluding to the fact that we need to leave. You know, I hear there's storms here. There's a reason why people didn't leave in that downtown town. Did you know that? Did you two know that?
So you're saying we need to skedaddle as soon as possible?
Yeah.
Yep. Oh, and Ensign Ramsey, one more thing.
Sir?
Emergency beam out. 3 to beam out on my signal. Now, now, now.
And as you're doing that, all of a sudden your communications are cut. Then Commander Harris like, Captain, I'm sorry, I can't allow anyone to beam out here.
This is kidnapping, Lieutenant Commander. You do realize that.
You do also realize that you're jeopardizing the relationship of a brand new Federation member world with the Federation. This is an interplanetary incident you're thinking about. If I were you, I would tread very, very carefully.
Lieutenant Allen, do you expect that both Captain Haggard here and Commander Wolfgang could be under the influence of some unknown effects of some psychological substance that Captain Mitsurugi could be containing? Lieutenant Allen just kind of nods, yes, sir. Then by authority under General Order, I can't remember. Captain, I believe we have to quarantine you, and he motions to the 2 security officers to come after you.
My intention, whether one way the question or not, I'm just gonna turn and bowl into the captain that we're Captain Mitsurugi, and just off the cliff, and hope I get as much distance as possible. I'm just diving for it.
So as you do that, as you bolt to her, she pushes you away, and she takes a dive towards the cliff, down the cliff face, and falls. Essentially, she kind of shoves you to keep you from falling.
Does she look like she's doing a controlled dive or just falling?
She's just falling.
Damn.
I'm gonna jump after her.
Okay. As you get up towards the rock, or as you get up towards the cliffside, you realize it's far down, and you see a lot of rocks where the ocean's at, kind of peering out.
There's a gamble here I'm trying, and I need to be away from people with armor and phasers. I wasn't intending to hit the ground.
Fitness security difficulty 3.
To get there fast enough?
You're gonna take a swine dive, right? Into the water?
My intention is to jump off and then grab one of the other, not the Starfleet one, but one of the ones I have. Actually, the captain's no less, that he got, and try to call for a beam out that way. Although, do I think a swan dive is going to make this more survivable, just in case they don't beam me out of there?
So the difficulty 3 is to miss the rocks, and
Fair enough.
so
So I don't hit the first rock on the way down.
yeah. Uh,
You fall 10 meters and hit a rock. You just stepped off the cliff. What did you think was going to
it's
happen?
actually pretty. It's pretty far down there.
Oh, okay.
So
Still.
it's slightly more than 10 meters. You're
So-
looking. It's closer to like 50.
That's going to
But-
suck.
Did she
Yeah.
seem she did it deliberately? Like, I'm trying to figure out if she's got a way out that we're not aware of, or if she's just
That's my gamble. That she knew this was a way out.
beyond the ultimate way out. We hope.
Yeah. I'm gonna give you some threat because I don't want to hit the rocks. Because I can't really burn my value away, really. Because they all kind of apply. Yeah. I'm gonna give you enough threat to get 5. So 1, 3, 6, I believe.
Yep.
And none of my focuses apply because I didn't exactly take swan diving back in the academy.
Yeah. Who knew? Hey, but sometimes service asks what we don't expect.
See, that's why I'd spend toward that. That would have been awesome, but I don't have determination.
I
You
can
gotta-
give
you
you
gotta use-
determination in the face of a complication.
Do you have any milestones saved up?
Wait, what was that? Oh, right. What was that, GM?
I can give you a determination, but you'll have a complication.
Sure. Partially because I don't remember how many milestones I have.
Okay. How much dice are you rolling?
Right now I was about to roll 5. Oh wait, I
So
was
you
getting
wanna-
determination, so I only roll 4.
Okay. So I need to take
So
a
I'm
third
gonna-
away. You make it.
Barely.
You barely miss a rock, but in doing so, you kind of left your duffel bag behind, which had your special communicators in.
Well, I'm about to get a lesson in swimming and cliff diving. Oops.
But you are in the water.
Oh, okay.
You made it. It was a very, very high jump, high dive. I mean, pretty good distance. And the water is freezing cold.
Do I see Captain Mitsurugi? Like under the water or swimming?
Or dashed to death on the rocks?
Yeah.
Insight. Let's make this insight con or security.
I'll take security, please.
Difficulty 0.
Well, that's unfortunate.
Okay.
There's a lot of water. It's cold, okay? Give me a break.
It was difficulty 0, so
You do succeed. You do not see Captain Mitsurugi.
but you also do not see her shattered body.
I'm going to swim for shore because I can't spend too much time out in the water.
All right, this is gonna be a fitness because of the complication. It's gonna be fitness plus security. Difficulty is 2.
Oh, okay.
Was 1, but it's 2.
Oh,
Haggard's gonna put on his badass command voice, point at the 2 red shirts, and say, "You 2, get down there and get my man out of the water. Move!"
They kind of look at you and look at the lieutenant commander. I'm like, what the fuck? What do you do? What's
I'm sorry.
going on?
I'm sorry, I forgot I wasn't wearing my captain's rank. Now move your asses, crewmen.
The communicator's like, delay that order. Captain, I don't think your rank here sees your authority at this moment.
My authority? There's a Starfleet officer in freezing cold waters. You want to tell me what my authority is? I'll have your goddamn rank if you don't get down there and get my men out of the water. And I don't care who you're friends with. This is a rescue operation now. You do it, or you face charges.
Pulls out his communicator. Lexington, lock on to the location of a certain individual that is currently in the body water and have them beam aboard the Lexington. And see if you can't scan for another female body in the ocean water as well. Acknowledge. There, Captain, are you happy? There's no need to have these two crew members endanger their lives by doing a swan dive.
Well, I'm sorry. I would have called for my own ship to beam him out if you hadn't cut off my communications, Lieutenant Commander, thereby endangering Starfleet officer.
Captain, this was an intelligence operation. You did
Was
not
it?
have the
It
authority
doesn't seem to me that there's been any amount of intelligence involved in this entire operation. Now, does it? Where is your target? Why is a Starfleet officer freezing in the water? Exactly how badly did you screw the pooch on this one? Because it seems to me someone's going to want some answers, and you're in a piss-poor position to provide any. And I'm going to be coming from you from the other direction. So watch your backs.
I assure you, your first officer will be delivered to the Argo shortly. Good day, Captain. And they just walk off.
Well, I guess I will pick up the commander's duffel, see if I can raise the Argo on one of the other communicators.
There's like there's like 2 in there.
Yeah. And get beamed up myself.
All right, Lieutenant Ramsey acknowledged, and you find yourself back on board the Argo, and ironically, no, you're there, Commander.
Oh, hooray!
You're beamed simultaneously, and Anders just kind of has like this big smile, like different beam 2 people from 2 locations at the same time. It's quite thrilling.
Well done, Anders. Well done. Well, number 1, let's get you
Blankets,
Commander.
please.
get your quarters, get warmed up and cleaned up.
Aye, sir. Oh, I hate duffel bags. Oh, sir? She wasn't, and I'll talk really quiet to him. Not in the water. And I'll walk to my quarters.
I'll head back to my quarters for a change of clothes myself. That was such a clusterfuck. And I'll have Ramsey contact Ensign Shuttlecraft and tell him his leave is extended. He's back on leave and it's extended by 24 hours.
Noted, sir. We do have a request came in from Starfleet Command that we are needed at Starbase G6 within 5 days.
Noted. Adjust the shore leave rotation accordingly and let everyone know. But let's get as much of a break as we can while we're here.
Understood, Captain. Is there anything else?
No. Everything all right on the bridge?
It's been mostly quiet. I know the transport rooms have been going hectic with constant beams out and
Mm.
a lot of requisitions for Latinum.
Well, that'll happen in the early Federation world. Oh, carry on, Ramsey.
Thank you, sir.
So, and after a change of clothes and a sonic shower, I'll go and if I think I've given Wartburg enough time, I'll go rap on his door.
Come in.
And I do. So, number one, what have we learned today?
Primer on swan diving, sir. As I continue wiping my hair down with a towel.
You had excellent form out there, number one.
Yeah, it looked great in the hollow I watched.
Well, speaking of deep waters, I think we're swimming with sharks these days.
Aye, sir.
Any recommendations?
I need to talk to some people. See what kind of friends I have left in intelligence right now. It is funny, though, that the captain knew my file since she disappeared before I was on assignment. So
she did mention that she still got friends in Starfleet.
Pretty high friends to know about the K7 project. That was not exactly bragged about. Well, actually, she would have known about the regular K7 assignment. Now that I think of it.
Well, I'll do the same from my end of things and see what we can learn. But I kind of understand her feeling of not knowing exactly who to trust.
And do you want me to attempt a dialogue with this lieutenant commander? I do have his frequency. And theoretically, we're both brothers in the gray, to put it that way, or in the black, as the uniform is.
I'd rather have him hauled before court-martial, personally.
As would I, sir, but something tells me someone in command who outranks you called that shot. It's a rare intelligence officer that looks a captain in the eye and tells him no. You need some backing to do that. Unless he has a captain of his own in the area, but a division head, but I don't know if they put that, if they're doing that, that means there's a lot more resources than just those two.
Well, the problem is these two weren't just bending regs, they were throwing the book out.
Aye, sir.
And that's not something that Starfleet should abide.
Now, without very good reason.
I'm not sure there is a good enough reason, number one. Thinking like that is what gets us secret police.
Aye, sir.
Remember, we're not dealing with Klingons or Romulans or any other non-Federation species that we need intel on because they're a potential threat. We're talking about Federation citizens. Federation citizens who have been legally granted protection by a Federation world and whose asylum claim was pretty much approved as part of the agreement for that world to join by the Federation Council, our civilian bosses. We start overstepping those lines, number one, and we're back in the Dark Ages.
Ulysses.
Yes?
You're aware of the prerogative captains have to violate the Prime Directive. It's not something you exercise that often. I imagine from your record you've bent the rule once or twice. Sometimes people intelligence believe that prerogative extends to other directives. I'm not saying what they're doing is right, but let me tell you that the op you rescued me from wasn't exactly above board. That's why I needed a ship to get me out of there in the first place. So if we're willing to do that and risk a war and several officers, there are some people who are going to spend a lot of information and a lot of people to get certain things done. So be careful, is what I'm telling you.
I understand that, Wolfgang. And I understand the necessity for black ops. But I'd hoped that by this time we had gotten away from having to do it to ourselves. Again, it's one thing when outwardly directed at someone like the Klingons, who, let's face it, the war's been as hot as often as it's been cold.
Mm.
And something else directed against Federation citizens. And particularly, in an action that could crack the Federation wide open. If Trill suddenly decided to change its mind and leave, who knows what kind of ripples that could have.
Mm. My advice to you, sir,
Mm-hmm.
if they're going to work outside the rules of the system that we're in, then you need to operate outside of the system. You need allies outside of the Federation.
Fortunately, number one, I think you're right.
I'm quite good at that, sir. At least when it comes to things like this.
Well, we've been ordered to, what was it, G6 in 5 days. So shore leave is somewhat curtailed, but we do have some of it left, and God knows you've got some coming. Were I you, I'd spend it at a nice warm symposium hall with hot toddies in between.
Is that an order, sir?
It's a suggestion, number one.
I will certainly take the suggestion under advisement, Captain.
Stay warm. And I exit the his quarters.
Mind the cold, Ulysses.
And I think that's a good spot to end the session.